lofty ship to thee, a sailing down along the coast of high Barbary. Inhale her, O captain, he called o'er the side. Blow high, blow low, and so sail we. Oh, are you a pirate or a man of war, he cried, a sailing down along the coast of high Barbary. A pirate or a man of war, cried we. Blow high, blow low, and so sailed we. Oh no, I'm not a pirate, but a man of war, cried he, a sailing down along the coast of high Barbary. For broadside, they fought all on the main. Blow high, blow low, and so sailed we, until at last the frigate shot the pirates' mast away, a sailing down along the coast of high Barbary. With cutlass and gun, oh, we fought for hours three. Blow high, blow low, and so sailed we. Their ship it was their coffin, and their grave it was the sea, a sailing down along the coast of high Barbary. A sail, look astern, look to weather in the lee. Blow high, blow low, and so sail we. I see a wreck to windward and a lofty ship to lee, a sailing down along the coast of high Barbary. A sailing down along the coast of high Barbary. A sailing down along the coast of high Barbary. A sailing down along the coast of high Barbary. A sailing down along the coast of high Barbary.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here with the League of Legends Round 2 NTEL. I'm here joined by Billy Tojango Willing here. He's joining me on the shoutcaster desk here.
What's going on, guys? Let's get this dub. Let's go, week 2.
Yeah, I'm ready to get things started. I'll give the captains the go-ahead to start off Champions Select here, and we should have this Champions Select underway soon. But go ahead and just walk us into this match we're about to get started here. ADA versus JSA, AD Astra versus Job Seekers. What are your thoughts on the two teams?
This is going to be a great match. JSA had a great showing last week. I think they played 2 games and won 1 and lost 1, if I remember correctly. But they're looking to be a top team. From scrims and from the game we saw last week, they're looking really good. So the draft is getting started real quick with the first Renekton ban going straight towards Chris Strider. Obviously, the Renekton Diana main.
Yeah,
I'm expecting
guys,
to see
like,
Diana ban here too.
like there's no secrets here. Chris Strider's been a pillar for this team for a long time now, and obviously everyone wants to take that pillar out. They take out the fundamental champions such as the Diana and the Renekton, which he has leaned on a lot, but like we've saw last week. Yeah.
Rek'Sai ban here too. Just some clear scouting been done. I think Zonox has like 300 games or 250 games on Rek'Sai. So
Yeah, actually, I
another
believe
great ban
that
there.
was their sub jungler here, but we're not sure if Zonox plays it. I haven't scouted him myself, but Sergeant Crane's actually been the well-known Rek'Sai player, and I think that champion only got more crazy with the Prowler's Claw this season, but yeah, it
absolutely.
recently copped some nerfs, but still taking it off the board there. There's still a new patch. Not gonna think that Prowler's Core is dead in the water just yet, but it definitely took some heavy hits this patch. But tell you what, didn't take a hit. Diana did not, but she was taken off the board away from Chris Strider straight away. There, they let it through and they picked it away. The very smart
Yeah.
draft already.
Drafting very well. Using that first pick is essentially like a fourth ban. Now that Diana can go jungle, could go mid. If it does go mid, I'm excited to see what Chris Strider will play into that. Considering that is one of his main champions, he might be able to pull out a pretty good counter pick for this one.
Yeah, and no doubt if he's played the champion so much, he's probably played all the matchups and he knows which one sucks. Like, after
Yeah,
playing it that
absolutely.
much, you're going to run into this champion where you're just like, I absolutely hate this matchup. I know I've got some in my mind, but I'm not going to spill my secrets just because I am competing. Not going to
No,
throw
let us
anything out of the
know,
water.
man. That's interesting.
Nah,
You should-
but
you should-
I'll
Gotta feel
spill
some
my
secrets.
thoughts about the Aatrox in the center that just came through. Aatrox is a pretty good champion in the blind pick. He's not really going to get shut down by any champion. Definitely not going to get shut down by the Ornn, but it's not exactly got that raw damage to kill the Ornn either. So pretty stale matchup in the top lane. We'll see if the players can outplay each other in the early game when they are vulnerable. But the center
Yeah,
also...
excited to finally see the center.
Yeah.
We didn't get any in week 1 from memory.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see it. Unfortunately, I think it's come just a little bit too late. I believe Stride Breaker was nerfed this patch for range champions, so not going to be as strong. I think the range damage or like the percentage damage was reduced from 12% to 8%, so
Yeah.
fairly decent nerf. But I'm sure the champion's still going to be strong as always. Excited to see it.
Definitely took a bit of a hit for those range champions. Ezreal and Sin are definitely going down in priority here, but I do still rate a lot of those other builds on Senna with the Kraken Slayer. If you manage to get, I'd say, a 3-item spike, where you get Kraken Slayer, the Rage Blade, and the Rapid Fire Cannon, this champion actually just outputs like way more damage than you'd expect her to. She actually starts reflecting some of the other AD carries' damages there. She can be a bit of a hyper carry her own if she's collected enough souls. So
Yeah, absolutely. Do you expect this one to go into the ADC role, or are you going to see like a starving support, or?
I do like the fasting center because it actually enables just so much more stats across the board on that bot lane, because you're getting plenty of stats still on that center and you're giving more gold over to your support. So I think it's just a net gain there, but it's always flexible. If you do find a support, like say something like the Morgana into that node list there, it can really shut down a lot of what that node list can engage. They might decide to go that way, but we'll see. Still a lot up on the board here. Plenty of
Yeah,
bans
the
been
Nautilus
thrown by.
is especially effective into the center too. You can just hit that Q even when she's got her E, and from that point he's right in melee range, so it can be super good. We'll be excited to see what's coming. And the Thresh.
Yeah, so that is going into the ADK role. It's unlikely the center will be fasting with the Thresh in the lane. Thresh isn't amazing at clearing out those waves, so I can only imagine the center is going to be picking up those farm, trying to hit that item spike a bit earlier, and the Kai'Sa is locked into answer. And this has been pretty meta up until recently. The MSI, just straight up favorite pick for a lot of pros was just Kai'Sa Nautilus bot lane, locked in early on in the draft. Just locked those two away. They're almost good into every matchup. not many champions that can answer that combo, and they did receive a few patches nerfs in the patches down the line here, so we'll see if that affects this dynamic duo in the bot lane here, and they're gonna finish off the last champion with that Corki there, so it is going to be that Diana jungle.
Is going into the jungle. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Yeah, probably a safer pick, I would say. And obviously, Chris Strider's taking the last pick, so he's just going to take the Ari. How does that matchup play out against the Corki?
Well, Corki basically loses every traditional matchup, but it depends how you see the word losing, right? Because Corki is a hyperscaler, so if you make it out of laning phase even, or God forbid you're ahead, that champion just takes over games, and I'm really excited to see how easy Doctor will pilot a champion, because we traditionally don't have that many Corkis in NT Sports. Like, I believe I love to play that champion, but I've never seen many other people pick it up, even though...
Yeah, I think I've seen you pick it up. There's one player from my team who picks it up on occasion when the champion is like pretty meta and pretty strong, but yeah, not too many, so excited to see another one come through.
There's nothing more hype than seeing that Corki fly through a team with the package, so I'm expecting some huge plays out of the Corki. Maybe some huge killer instincts from the Kai'Sa. I'm really liking this draft from AD Astra here, but we'll talk more about that soon, because we're now heading into spectator delay. We got to throw it over to our sponsors, give them the necessary shout out for giving us the season we have right here. So I'm going to transition us over. And there you have it, the major sponsors on your screen here. How could we not thank Paul's Iced Coffee, celebrating their 60th anniversary. Guys, I'm hearing them everywhere on the radio, on the way to work in the morning, that they're just going off chop celebrating this anniversary. They're giving out so much iced coffee. Be sure to support the Territory's own iced coffee. And they get me through so many mornings. Get me through so many mornings on the way to work. I don't know what I'd be doing without them. But we got to head over.
Only in the NT, mate. Yeah. Only in the NT. Love that stuff.
Yeah, all my friends who move away from the NT, they tell me they miss it. It's they're over there drinking some other brands, but it just doesn't hit the same, you know?
It just ain't the same. Nothing like Paul's.
Quick, speaking of anniversaries, McDonald's is having their anniversary too, if anyone's been heading to Macca's recently. But specifically, McDonald's Darwin, we want to thank majority of the Macca's stores around here in Darwin and Palmerston. They've given us plenty of funding for this season, and we're going to thank them so much, and the people who run those stores. And of course, we want to throw our thanks over to Northern Territory Government. They have been supporting us, supporting the youth community. You know, they really get behind the recreational side of things we do here. So, yeah, they think we're a great help to the youth. And even though not all of us are youths, I'm sure we still play our part, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's a huge sponsor to come on board. Only bigger things coming with the NTG, so keep your eyes out for that.
So that's the majors. We're going to throw over to our minors right now. Transition. Hopefully my audio is not cutting out like it was. I think the audio issue might still be there a little bit, but we'll work it out. Next tier, entertainment, Serotonic Beauty, VR Gamers, Gaming Creations, Tracy Village, Social and Sports Club, Howard Springs Tavern, The Rabbit Hole, Palettes of India, Fresh Point, John John's, Diamond Barbers, DNK, Wicked Energy, Joyce Main, Next Level Gym, and Bell Accounting. All of these sponsors on board, guys, giving us so many goodies. Unfortunately, we don't have much to give away right now, but you guys better keep your eye on these streams. I think maybe even by Saturday, we might have some giveaways for you guys. So if you are going to tune into a stream, tune into both of them, but if you can only choose one, tune into the Saturday one, because we'll have some goodies for you guys in the Spectator to grab for yourselves. So now I'm going to look over. Spectator delay's almost done here, so we're going to switch.
Great timing, mate.
Switch right over to that gameplay, and we'll
break
talk
it down, see what's going on in this. So you're saying you're favouring Ad Astra's draft in this one?
Yeah, AD Astra's draft is just so well-rounded there. They've got pretty good engage with the Nautilus and the Ornn. They've got really good playmaking, and then with potential with the package from that Corki. Diana obviously can just hop in at any moment and land that beautiful, I believe it's called Moonfall, is the name of her ultimate, and she's just got so much follow-up with the Kai'Sa and the Corki backing her up. I'd say if they are lacking in any point there, it's probably to do with just the early game. You know, they got to get through that early game. Kai'Sa needs to hit her items, Corki needs to hit her items, or needs to get those upgrades on the team. And I think once they're at that point, it's really their game to lose here. and that was an incredibly fast loading screen, so we didn't have much time to talk about JSA, but I do want to pause the game just as we start here so we can sync our stream up a little bit.
Yeah, I think you just got in before me, unfortunately.
Yeah, so
Bear with me.
I've just paused mine at 5 seconds. We'll do a countdown, we'll sync things up, and hopefully we won't have the buffering issue we had last stream, because no one wants a buffer in the middle of a team fight. It's just a total and utter, like, for lack of better wording, cock block.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm just sitting on 5 seconds here. Let me know when you're.
Alright, just, it's put me in past 5 seconds, so I'll just go back to 0. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Alright, you should be synced up, guys. I hope you're ready for this game. So let's break down JSA's composition, which we haven't had a really time to talk about yet before a possible invade kicks off here. Yeah, it's the JSA composition's pretty well rounded themselves. They've got a pretty solid front line. They've got engage potential with that Ari, with that Thresh, and really consistent DPS with that center. Probably going to be so safe behind all of these tanks in front of her. So I'm just hoping to see that hyper carry center build we were talking about, and because the Sundra was just
really
nerfed.
looking forward to seeing her get ahead. Center's just such a fun champion to see. Just watch her slowly snowball and just take over the game. It's really exciting to see. And it's good to see Chris Strider picking up. I'm not sure if we saw the Ari last week. I think we just saw the Fizz, if my memory serves me correctly. So good to see him coming down onto another champion here as well. Should be probably our player to keep an eye on this game in the middle lane. See how that plays out.
I'm just.
Does the Ari go even with the Corki?
I'd say yeah, that matchup is pretty even. Mostly you just want to be roaming on the Ari because this Corki is really safe. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to get this spectator HUD out the way. This little timer on the bottom here. Time controls, there we go. Finally out the way. I received some feedback based on the scoreboard being up all the time and the spectator timer stuff. I want to try get as much of the action as possible. And I also worked out some other cool features here. So I can zoom out my camera really far now like they do in LCS. I don't know when I'm going to implement this, but you know, hopefully I can find some hype moments where I can zoom us out there. But
damn,
back...
face actually. That's sick. How do you do that?
It's a secret, it's a secret. I had to go through plenty of hurdles of Googling the stage steps now. It was pretty easy, but I'm hoping to utilize it effectively.
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty interestingly, we've seen the Volibear start the red buff on the top side, and Diana start the red buff on the bottom side. So, Diana could be in range for a top lane gank. We'll see. I think the wave is pushing in bot lane. So
there's a nice hook there.
Hook's coming out.
Isn't traded away. Yeah.
No follow up this early.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think Kai'Sa does have the advantage this early on.
Yeah, but that's exactly what they nerfed in the patch not too long ago. They actually nerfed the Q cooldown early on and increased it by 2 or 3 seconds early game. And when you don't get that much experience in the bottom lane, those early nerfs hurt a lot more than your other traditional champions. So she actually did tank quite a bit in solo queue in terms of win rates there. And yeah, early game is so important in these like solo queue S games. But this is competitive. I'm sure Astra has a plan. They're going to play it out here. And yeah, it looks like Senna and Thresh have the priority here, but that's not necessarily the best thing when your Volibear's here. He's going to get the Scuttle Crab, but in terms of any gank activity, it's hard for him to do much here.
Yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't matter too much, like we said, when both teams are starting red buff. But we can see now, Diana's just going to pick up the Scuttle on the top side. So going pretty even in terms of the jungle. They've both almost done the exact same clear, but I don't think too much is going to come from it. Diana is pathing
Yeah, she's pathing up. The Nooblis does have a ward here, but he's currently just getting the solo kill.
He just got the flash with the third Q, sorry. Absolutely huge from Nooblis.
Oh, but Kiratine has something to say about it. Nooblis has already flashed, and Kiratine is going to pick that one up there.
Just got it.
Yeah.
And it's going him down bot now, too.
There is fights. Coast to coast on the map.
The Thresh just blowing the heal.
Yeah, blows the heal, gets out of there. That was a really nice peel away from the short master there. He just completely stopped that Kai'Sa in her tracks. Got the carry well away from his center there. And now Volibear wants to trade something across here. No summoners on Chen Chen. Oh, the hook misses the wall. He gets the hook back.
Oh,
Oh, the tower shot!
It's gonna go down.
Oh
Oh, Boy just lost 60% of his health bar from that shot as well. Huge. I think really JSA really just getting out of their lives there. Absolutely outrageous.
Yeah, that was so close to disaster there for job seekers, but they managed to trade out pretty evenly there, and I'd say even a little bit ahead because of the wave position. They also didn't get an assist onto the kill on that volley bear, so that's 50% of the gold. I always find this pretty underrated when people kill steal a lot or whatever. It's actually not that bad if it's two people involved in the kill, because if they kill steal it, it's technically 50% more gold than before than just the solo kill. So there is a lot more gold gained in the process. So it's important to think about that sort of stuff. So
as long as the gold is still going over to the carries,
but
it's more gold overall for sure.
If you look at the scoreboard there's about a 300 gold difference, and I'd say a big part of that was no one getting the assist on that volley bear kill. But let's pause that for a moment, because the Forsaken, he's really struggling into this matchup. Let's have a look at the scoreboard there. Pickaxe already picked up by the Aatrox. He's hitting way harder than usual, and all the Ornn has to his name is a measly little cloth armor there. Not really going to do much to combat the 25 AD from that pickaxe, and Nublis is just taking the Ornn down in this matchup. Like I said, if you're going to take him down, it has to be the early game before those armor items come through, and he's doing an excellent job of that.
Doing really well at that. It's important to note that unfortunately Forsaken has already died, and he's already, since he's been back, he's already used his 3 corruption pots. He's got the cookies coming in, but I don't think he's going to be able to stay in lane and just build his items. He's going to try and have to force some backs out. He didn't TP back, which is probably pretty important for him, but I'm expecting to see it soon. This could be another dangerous tower dive, honestly.
Yeah, he could be playing for his team here, holding that teleport for any possible dragon fights in the future, but I'd say this wave is extremely important for him to pick up, and this is a great opportunity for Nublis to deny a lot of XP, but he's playing it safe. Diana is on his side of the jungle, is playing with pretty good presence of mind here, not knowing where the Diana is, not forcing out any dives, but that Diana is still going to come top lane here. We'll see what they can do. We'll see if she does go for that gank or just decides to go for this red buff here. Slowing the game down here again. The game
is really just gonna stay out at the moment. Volleybear's coming for a nice invade. Didn't see how many camps he got there, but he might be right on time to come in for that blue buff steal if he wants to stick around bot lane.
Yeah, it looks like Volleybear's actually just going to use the priority of the mid and the bot to take this dragon here. Diana's still not showing on any vision. If she is going to trade anything off, it has to be this top lane now. Ornn is extremely low though, so I'm seeing a lot of outplay potential here for Nublis, and here comes the fight. Beautiful knock up there.
Just needs to walk out here. That other burst him down.
Oh yeah, they just burst him down. Yeah.
Huge moonfall from Kiratine. Nice gank.
Yeah, Nublis just had to kill that Ornn well before that ultimate came out, but unfortunately Ornn is still pretty tanky. He's not going to get the kill before that call of the Forged God comes out, and he's just CC locked there, as you can see, between the two champions. So many knockups, so...
Really, it seems like he really, he got to that point where, you get so far ahead that you start to bait yourself with your advantage, and just by pushing in, he didn't have any wards there, so pretty free gank from Kiratine.
That's just how League is though. You're playing on a knife's edge, there's an Ornn with half health in front of you, you're full health, you want to press this advantage and turn it into more than just a health lead, but it's so hard, and we've got to teleport.
Bot here.
Yeah, it's pretty ambitious. He has the package, actually. He's going to cut off Stairboy there. He's going to have to run across the package. This is surely going to lead to a kill. Beautiful skill shots. All of them landing.
Just locking him down.
Yeah, and speaking of locking down, he grabs away his short master, but he's going to drop the flash to get out there. Yeah, that is what you have to watch out for Corki. A lot of the time, when you hear that noise, you have to step back in lane. The package does play a pretty easy to notice audio cue on the enemy team, so
no wards in the tri-brush, he gets a pretty free gank, maybe gets there a little bit sooner than expected. And Kiratine looking for another gank top lane, but
not going to find anything. He has to be careful here. I'm going to zoom us out a little bit as this Volleybear comes in.
Volleybear is here. Nublis doesn't have the ult. I think they're probably just going to stale this one out.
I don't have to zoom us out at all because the fight's right on our screen here. Nublis is pretty chunk. Kiratine's still looking for that angle. Zonox smells something. They're going to stay around, possibly farm this wave. Yeah, they know it's here. I think they're just going to stalemate this, push the tower in, and both reset here. I'm not seeing any ambitious dives coming out at this point, but
A nice counter gank from Zonox. Nublis did have the ward down this time, so I wonder if they saw Kiratine come up a little bit early. And he's actually coming back in for the gank. He's been caught up. Forsaken gets the kill
he just
with the W
him.
proc on the brittle.
W proc on the brittle with that grass, and yeah, Zonox really wants to trade this kill, but Easy DR is here. Easy Doctor, I'm going to call him. No DR. Sounds way better.
Yeah. He's flashing in to try and get the kill on Zonox there, but Zonox had the big ult up. He's super healthy. He's not going down. Thankfully, Chris Strider was up there for some peel as well. Nice rotate from Chris and from Easy Doctor.
Yeah.
Damn, it's really heating up.
Yeah, this match is neck and neck. Oh, that hook is just going to miss there. And I think, like I said before, a neck and neck match does give AD Astra the advantage with this hyper-scaling composition here. So I want to have a look over at the builds right now. We're seeing the Corki still go for that Divine Sundra despite the nerf dispatch. I still think Into the Right composition is the better choice here. And just hitting your Mythic that much earlier on feels so much better on the Corki, because if you're not going for Divine Sundra, you usually get your Mythic third item on the Shield Bow. Normally you're rushing Essence, you're rushing that Manamune, but hold that thought, there's a big hook there, but they're going to back off. Still, like, I feel like Kiratine is commanding so much pressure around this map. There's advantages here, but they don't decide to go in. And look,
in.
Yeah, that's a huge hook!
Excellent hook from Shortmaster. He's been absolutely destroying.
Oh no, he's stuck around. Stairboy's going to get picked up.
For nothing.
Yeah.
I think he might have already used his flash there. Yeah, he sure did. Shortmaster is just playing an excellent Thresh game, hitting so many important peel hooks. I think that hook was kind of for his life there, but Stairboy just stuck around to try and get maybe a little bit of extra poke in or finish someone off, and paid for his life as well.
And yeah, just look at Kiratine's performance. I was talking about how he's commanding respect from his opponents just when they're looking for trades and such, but just look at the build. Now you definitely need to respect this Diana. Already on a Nash's Tooth. It's not traditionally what Diana's build first, but it definitely helps the dueling out so much. She can output so much damage if you let her get those auto attacks off with this sort of build.
Absolutely.
So
is
yeah,
he at a point where you think he could 1v1 the Volibear here?
I think easily if he was given the alone time, the Volibear is going down because that Conqueror stacks up so quick on that champion Diana, way faster than Volibear. So he's just going to get so much dueling prowess off of this Nash's Tooth, and it's looking pretty scary because we're getting close to those key item completions here for the side of AD Astra. Easy Doctor's almost at that Sundra. The Kaiser's so close to that Kraken Slayer here as well, and as soon as those items come through, I'd say you just have to give the Dragon with how much power those items provide. But
Monsieur, we're just slowing down. I think it's another calm before the storm. It looks like AD Astra kind of pathing towards top. Cookie's kind of looking for something. Diana is here again, and Nublis is super pushed up. He has the ward, but a lane gank might just be enough to kill him here.
Oh, beautiful flash.
Flashed the Ornhorn, and Kiratine's just going to back off after that. He got the flash, but I imagine we can probably expect to see Kiratine back up here again. With Zonox actually now showing. Obviously, Forsaken has no bush pressure for these wards, so he's just going to path off to the Herald here. But obviously, there is a gank on. There's a gank available.
Yeah,
Nublis, I don't think he needs it. He's been doing really well, hitting like every Q, but...
Yeah, I'd say this is even a missed opportunity. They are going to go for the Herald, but I'd say going for a dive here is really well advised with Ari being in the area and Volibear just disabling that tower. It's pretty much nothing that Ornn can do without his ultimate. But they are going to play it so. Grab the Herald first, and then they can look for the dive, which is probably what we're about to see here. I'm going to zoom us out so we can see these champions start to collapse on the Forsaken. What's he going to do? The Herald's already getting dropped. Chris Strider goes in, he lands the charm, he's tanking tower, but he's got the Spirit Dash to get well out of dodge, and Zonox doesn't even need to do anything there. He just spectates.
He just dropped the Herald, yeah. It was enough pressure just with the Ari. I think he...
Oh, the package play again! Here we go! Oh, there's not much to say here. Stairboy just instantly gets taken down.
The tower though, and Flayed, and Exhaust on the tower, but he's just going to blow his flash to get out of there as well, actually.
Yeah, we saw this in the GPs vs Destiny game, how important it is to play the sides of the map here. If you're playing weak side bot, you can't be stepping up like that as Stairboy. Even with the Thresh, there's just not much you can do once that Corki comes across with the package. He's going to start one-shotting you if he lands that direct hit. So,
But that's
yeah.
really good of ADA to capitalize
Yeah,
on
100%. I'd
three
say,
team members stop. He's just going straight bot with that package and getting a nice return kill. Obviously, the trade's not too worth it because there are 3 members in Herald taking down that first tower, but still good proactivity. It's better than taking nothing. Of
yeah.
course.
And we didn't see this on camera, but Diana did pick up the Infernal Drake in the meantime as well, so that's a little bonus to the play. So, yeah, I'd say, honestly though, if we are going to take any member to kill on the side of JSA, killing that center is so important with how much damage she's going to provide to this composition. So if we are able to set the center behind, Arya just starts to lack the damage when taking out champions like that, or and she's just going to be tickling him, even with the true damage. She just doesn't provide that much, so it's going to be a lot of responsibility put onto the shoulders of that Aatrox here, who has a lead because of that Herald play, to try and output some of that missing damage there from the composition.
Now, it's funny to know that he is still just going to keep split pushing this top wave. Obviously, I don't think he can know that Diana's on the bot side of the map at this stage, but do you think it's the correct move to just keep pushing the side lane at this point?
I think, yeah, it's a fine decision. There's not really much to fight over on the bot side right now. Normally, when you take the bot tower with your duo lane, then you can start rotating them across to take the tower. But even if the top laner gets his tower, it's not like you can rotate him bot to 1v2 or start diving on this. So, since there's not much to fight over, I do kind of agree with this decision. It's just, obviously, he has to be pretty careful when pushing that far up. You can see his position right now. He's starting to get pings here. Diana's on her way. You can't really output much pressure in this scenario as the Aatrox.
Yeah. I think he might have thought he just waited enough time there and Diana hadn't shown, but she was actually just clearing her camp. I think Nublis is going to pay for his life here.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way for him to get out. He has to try outplay, but I don't think you're outplaying this super fed Diana, but he has a lot of healing.
Drink. He's life stealing so much actually, but the brittle proc is just going to clap the rest of his HP bar there. Nice play from Kiratine. It's really coming around the map and, you know, stopping Nublis from just like pushing this overwhelming advantage. Actually giving Forsaken some time to breathe. It's been really beneficial for both teams. And see Chris Strider is kind of waiting up to see if Forsaken would push past that wave, but both Forsaken and Kiratine are both going to take a nice back there.
Yeah, Diana looking towards that Rift Maker now. Once she does complete that item, she's going to be such a strong bruiser threat. Normally we see the Dianas go for the one and done combo where they go Proto Belt and Zhonya's, and they just look for the biggest ult possible in the team fight. But I guess this Diana's looking to just duel down these bruisers like the Aatrox, like the Volley Bear on the side of Job Seekers here. That's his preferred playstyle, and so far it's paying dividends. We saw how many auto attacks he was able to get off onto that Aatrox there, and I'm pretty sure if he went the Rocket Belt build, it might have been a very different story for that Aatrox in the extended fight. But yeah, so far not too much happening. Both teams are scaling, and it is interesting to note that gold is actually in Job Seeker's advantage despite all the kills you see on the top of your screen there, 9-4. But still, Job Seeker's keeping stable, 800 gold lead here, and that's just not factoring in the stats like the center souls that she might be grabbing. In fact, I'm going to have a look over at her souls right now. She's sitting on 36. Once she hits 40, that's a pretty decent power spike. Gets a little bit more range onto that champion every time you get an interval of 20 souls. And yeah, they need to be careful though. On this bot side, Kiratine is here. He wants to make a play happen. There's a play happening mid too. The 4 seconds assisting Corki. Take down that tower.
Just getting a nice tower trade there. Yeah, really good. Obviously, the Corki has much stronger pushing pressure than
here we go.
the Ari does.
Yeah, that's...
Instead, we're going down to Kiratine again. And I think Shortmaster's going to fall as well. There's no pilling them that time. He's dropped the ult, but wasn't enough to stop them. Kiratine is actually having such a great game right now. Yeah, he's like everywhere on the map. He's getting advantages in like almost every lane. I think he's playing so well. He's looking really good here.
Yeah, this dude has the patience of a monk too as well. We see so many times where he could just instantly go for that gank, instantly force the issue, but he waits around a lot. He goes, clears out enemy jungle. Oh, hold that thought as Chris Strider almost finds the pick onto that Nautilus there, but not quite. Oh, Nublis caught out again here too. Maybe the package is there. He's going to run for his life, but can you escape from these ultimates and this Corki? Oh, he's doing a pretty good job there. I think he is going to get out with his life. Not much CC to fall through, but again...
Yeah, pretty nicely. The move speed on the Aatrox ult, just, super valuable. Just escape some of those ganks that he's been receiving. I think the first time he's probably gotten away with it, but good to see at least.
Yeah, it finally gets away from that duo. Kiratine probably would have been able to slow him down with the dashes, with the Moonfall, but Corki unfortunately doesn't have too much CC in his kit unless you find an amazing package. So yeah, he is going to walk right out of that one. But I do want to mention just how intelligently AD Astra have been playing this early game, because if you're going to attack the center in this composition, you have to do it in the early game, because once you start team fighting around these tanks, the center in her E is going to be so hard to reach. She's probably got plenty of souls by that point. She's going to have such ridiculous range, and if she does make an error, she's got Thresh there to bail her out of bad situations. But they've just been so good at landing these engage tools. This Diana's getting on her, landing the ultimates. Nautilus is landing consistent hooks, and his ultimates have been on point so often. So they're just constantly picking up kills in this bot lane here. I want to have a look at the scoreline. Yeah, 1 and 4 on the center, and that's not because Stairboy is playing particularly awful. It's just because they have so many tools to catch out this immobile champion in the early game. So yeah,
absolutely. As soon as Nautilus, gets any kind of CC, Karthik can just ult immediately. Yeah, it's such a strong combination. It's working really well for them so far, as well as the Kiratine ganks, obviously. Just put them so far ahead, but I would probably give it to Stairboy in the, the overall scale at the end. We'll see how that plays out, and if the game will actually go that far.
Yeah, that said, Kai'Sa is not shy of scaling herself, so I'd definitely give the advantage over the AD Astra. But we see they're intelligent, because they could be making plays in this mid lane here for this Corki, trying to get the Corki ahead, but they realize the Corki's into Ahri, and Corki's not providing much gang setup at all, so they're just realizing their win conditions, like, hey, Ahri just has a ridiculous ultimate that's going to keep her safe from any ganks possible. Let's try attack the weak side of the map, which is that bot side at the moment, in that immobile center, and is paying off dividends here. A little bit of a wet noodle fight.
Himself into another duel here, actually. It's looking pretty even at this stage. I mean, obviously Nublis is the lifesteal, and Forsaken's actually looking to go down now. Nublis is blowing the ult, so Forsaken's blowing the flash. He's got hit by the Q, and he couldn't hit the Ornn horn. Oh, couldn't reactivate it to get the knock up onto Aatrox.
He even looked like he tried to use it as a dash to get away. But yeah, Nublis has been doing so well this game despite what has happened to him. He has given a lot of kills over to the Diana, but he's still fighting in this lane, and that Ornn is struggling to deal with him here. Sonox on wave clear duty. Not exactly your favorite place to be as a Volibear jungle, but yeah, he's holding out against those two very strong champions at the moment. Corki hitting that Divine Sundra power spike already. I think he's going to be dealing heavy damage to these bruises with that pickup here.
It looks like Nublis is going to get that bot tower as well from that nice trade that he got with the Ornn. Just picking that one up now. It's probably going to take a nice back.
Zoom out a little. Chris Strider
holding this one here. Yeah. I don't think they know Kiratine's still here. Maybe they are. They're just backing off there, but Kiratine just backing in the brush, just seeing if anything's going to happen there, but playing that pretty safe. Yeah, it looks like the JSA are really slowing the game down here, really trying to wait for some of their stronger picks to scale up, but yeah, obviously in the bot lane the scaling's going to go to center overall, but also Corki and Ornn, Diana are just like huge scalers. The Ornn's definitely going to outscale the Aatrox in the long run, and I think the Kiratine is just like so far ahead of this Volibear, he probably can never catch up. And the Nautilus ult is coming out to knock up Stairboy. He's pressuring up, and Shortmaster's just going.
They're doing this so well. They're playing it so well.
Are they going to pick this one up too?
Oh yes, they are. The crit comes through the center, and do you see how difficult it is to get onto that center during her E there? Kai'Sa had ult, Kai'Sa had flash, Kai'Sa had heal, but she can't find an angle. Not only is center camouflaged in that E, she is just getting peeled off by this Thresh that does not leave her side there.
Dude,
and we see
Shortmaster is playing such a good Thresh game this game. So good to see. Love to see a good Thresh. And immediately, as soon as they were trying to dive onto the Stairboy, Thresh just straight away was like, kind of like, nah, wait. Nautilus is in our face. He just peeled off and went straight.
He has package here. I think they're going to pick up this kill on Thresh. The W from center was so huge. They missed their skill shots onto the Corki. That is so unfortunate. And Kiratine finds a big angle here. He's going to get a double ultimate and pick up 2. That is so crucial. And the dragon just spawns 2. That is just salt on the wound there. They're going to look mid lane for a tower here, but That is just an incredible engage from Kiriti to turn around what looked like a really bad situation, but you gotta admit, that Corki should have died from the skill shots, but the fight is not over. The Bruisers have something to say about it. Zonox going in with the volley bear, that's where the camera is. I want to have a look over at that Aatrox. He's still alive too. No ultimates left on the side of this blue side, so the Bruisers are able to take it out here. Orn is running for his life.
Getting a huge shutdown on the Diana. I don't think the Orn's making it out of this one.
Yeah, Chen doesn't want anything to do with those two Bruisers. They're like barely even wounded from that fight there. What a turnaround from the two Bruiser players.
Noblest actually showing up, you know, using some of his advantage to get some goal back there. That last 30 seconds.
Oh no, the ultimate feeder is just going to live up to his name there, getting caught out.
It is an ultimate feed.
I hate to roast you like that, but when you got a name like that, it's just like, what else are you going to say?
You're really asking for it, aren't you?
But yeah,
that's sure what he was doing there. I guess he was trying to get some vision on the Drake that's going to go over to JSA here. But just paying for it with his life and not actually getting any vision that the team can capitalize off, because obviously everyone's dead. Kaiser was kind of making her way, but yeah, I don't think they were going to get too much from that. Yeah. Let's just take a second and go try and recall some of that fight. So the Corki went in on the mid lane and kind of got a bad package there where, you know, as he said, he should have died, should have paid with his life. Then the Thresh made a pretty good play, I thought, to hook the Diana and stop her, but from there she just hit a huge Q on the backline and just hit a huge 3-man ulti and just destroyed the backline, obviously abusing her advantage right now. She's got the Rift Maker, she's not dying from that. It was huge. Then afterwards Volibear was kind of holding the tower and they were kind of teasing the dive, but I think Aatrox got there in time, and looks like Ultimate Feeder might go down here again. No, he's just going to queue out to safety.
He's got the dredge line to get to the wall there, and yeah, just as you said, beautiful recap of the fight. And just what's important, I think, is to notice is that a lot of people have been losing to Shopkeeper this tournament. We can look at the side of Job Seekers here and see they have a lot of healing on their team composition. Aatrox is just the healer. Like, if you're not buying Grievous Wounds versus Champion, you are throwing. And Chris Strider caught out there, doesn't land that charm. He's going to use all 3 ults, but that Diana's pretty fast, doesn't catch. Looks like they're going to converge onto mid here. I'll zoom us out a little bit more to see this.
Only, from what I can see, it looks like Kai'Sa and Diana the only.
Yeah, and before that fight, the Kai'Sa didn't have that Grievous Wounds, and the Bramble Vest was the only Grievous Wounds on the team comp. And I think Volibear, right as that fight happened, he picked up the Spirit Visage, so he was healing just as much as that Aatrox. And we can just even look at champions like Senna with the innate healing in her kit. Ari even, no stranger to healing with that Q if you have the stacks up. So
yeah,
they've got so much healing in this composition, you have to be purchasing their Grievous Wounds, otherwise these bruisers are going to get ridiculous values off of their items and their kits.
And that might have been, you know, what Astra had, like, just as soon as they lost that fight, they were like, nah, we just lost to healing there. And, you know, 2 of them went back, just bought some Grievous Wounds instantly. So good to see them at least, you know, cashing their own mistakes from the Shopkeeper at least.
Yeah, that said, it may have really impacted them during that one play. It's never too late to buy those Grievous Wounds, and it's going to be really important coming up to these dragon fights here, because both teams are sitting on 2 dragons here. In fact, I don't think even the game's going to be decided by the Dragon Soul here. It's at this point in the game you want to be looking towards that Baron, especially with the Corki Kai'Sa composition. You can melt that so easily. The Job Seekers Alliance don't really take Baron that quickly, but neither do they really take too much damage. With the Volibear being level 16 here, he's the highest level on his team. Zonox has been like sleeper OP in this game. He was kind of getting outperformed by Kiratine here, but look at his level. He's now 209 CS, just shy of Kiratine's, but he's got the XP lead.
Power farming for sure, yeah.
He's really doing a good job on this Volibear, keeping up with his opponent despite all the kills that have come through. And yeah, it's pretty important to stay ahead of the curve as a bruiser here, because Volibear's not really known to scale into the game, especially with the Divine Sunder build. You're just going to start to fall over to those AD carries a bit later, but right now this champ is definitely really strong, and Corki's kind of hitting his power items here too, but they need a lot more to take down these bruisers. I think they got to really catch them out of position.
Yeah, absolutely. The game's kind of slowing down at the moment. Everyone's just trying to, you know, go back to their lanes and keep the waves pushed, maybe looking to see if they can catch someone around the map in bot lane here. But important to note that Ad Astra have, more towers, more kills, but JSA have actually snuck away with the gold lead here. I wonder if that's just come down to shutdowns or maybe the first tower plate they got in the beginning. But yeah, they're looking to pick up a pretty decent advantage. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, if it really is as even as the scoreboard is telling us.
Yeah, and just as I checked there, I do notice the Ornn just ticked over to level 14, and we do see the first Ornn item on the Rift here. The Kaiser has picked up herself. What is this? The Wormfallen Sacrifice. I have no idea why it's called that. Goes from Kraken Slayer to Wormfallen Sacrifice, but hey, the extra stats
Because
on
worms
this...
are like dragons, and I guess krakens are kind of like, I don't know, not really dragons, are they? Like sea snakes, but I guess, yeah, it's kind of wormy, I don't know.
Yeah,
Fantasy jumbo.
We're getting some Ornn items on the Rift here, and that Kaiser is going to be a lot stronger than your average Kaiser with these items here because of that, and I think it's going to play a huge factor in this upcoming fight because, yeah, every bit of DPS means so much into these tanks here. We're going to see how they play it. Does Corki have the package for this fight? He does. Corki.
It looks like they're just kind of just camping this brush. I wonder if someone's going to get caught out here.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Shortmaster's just going to hold the queue, see if they come around, but Ad Astra kind of pathing towards the bottom of the Drake where they already have vision priority, so it's super well done from
They
them.
make a play, but the Nublus is just out of there with the what's the Aatrox called? Uproar dash. Yeah.
Dash, yeah.
Oh, and we had a big hook onto the Ornn here. Ornn's going to look to engage, but he just can't get any of his abilities off. We're going to zoom back into this fight. Tons of ultimates been thrown everywhere. The fight is so scattered. They're in onto Stairboy, trying to kill that carry. Finally going to take him down, but the bruisers are in there, right in the middle. They're taking everyone down. Corki's pretty high health, but he gets a crucial charm from Chris Ryder to get the taunt there. Chan trying to escape.
Zonok's ulti coming up pretty late. Kiratine's probably going to go down here too. SDR needs to get some more damage in if Kiratine has any chance of living here. He's gonna do it, so close to taking down the Volibear too. But at that point, I just don't think you beat the Aatrox there after that as well.
Yeah,
just so much lifesteal from the bruises here from Volibear and Aatrox. Absolutely massive from those two. Those guys are undying.
Yeah, the Grievous wounds has come through, but you've just given the bruises such a huge lead at this point that you just need to focus fire them down to stop them from healing. If it's long extended trades like that, Volibear is just going to be Wing all day. Aatrox, every single one of his abilities is just going to be healing him. You really aren't going to get through them unless you're playing the team fight so well, and they had a pretty good pick onto Stairboy there, but the positioning they sacrificed just allowed Zonox and Nublus to just get right in there with the bruises, and they're basically just meleeing these carries.
Yeah, they absolutely tore the team apart, and everyone was just had to kind of scat off in each direction, and they just got so many advantages from that, so many 2v1 situations and that quick team fight. Really good to see that Nublus is actually pulling ahead with this lead. He's making things happen around the map, and
instead that is a huge amount of damage.
Oh, who was that? He burst down Stairboy, got absolutely obliterated.
Oh no, Easy Doctor got
keep him
chumped.
alive. Stairboy with a huge ulti. I think he got two there, and his whole team with the shield. Forsaken gonna flash forward and get the last auto there and slow down the team. But he's just going to go down to these three huge teammates here as well.
Yeah,
that's a free Baron for JSO.
Forsaken has been forsaken by his teammates. Not really, they kind of died on him. It happens, but yeah, he gets left alone there, and Kaiser, just with no one left, just can't really do much to enter into this Baron pit. Yeah, they've just got caught out. Kiratine looked for the angle. He had so much damage there. Despite this bruiser build, he was able to instantly one-shot Stairboy, but Stairboy's itemization might have been seeing this coming. He realizes he's the target, so he just went straight up and just bought the Guardian Angel. He's like, hell, I don't need to carry anymore. I just need to just
she hit
stay
that W on
alive.
and surely she's not ulting in here.
No, unfortunately, you can't ult in onto monsters. Only champions here. Otherwise,
okay,
I think we might have seen a just Rambo play from Chan trying to bring the game back, as it is creeping further and further out of their reach here. 5,000 gold lead now for the side of Job Seekers, and it was so close until it wasn't. Right?
Yeah, that was huge. Unfortunately, Kiratine got caught out at the start of that play, and we thought it was all over for him, but he dropped a W and the ult and just did huge damage. Absolutely blew up Stairboy. But after he came back alive, obviously Kiratine had gone down, he was just able to kite back far enough where he could get the ulti down. Just gave huge shields to his entire team. Got some nice damage out there. That's the center mischief that we love to see.
Yeah.
Obviously, that GA is going to be down. It's about, I don't know, maybe a third of the way through at this stage.
Solid sake, Kiritine's playing around here. He's trying to find an angle on that center without the Guardian Angel, but no, he decides it's not worth the risk. Doesn't see
Yeah, it
enough
would have been a
champions.
1-for-1 trade against the Aatrox anyway, I believe.
Yeah, and they're just
But
looking to
maybe,
group
maybe
up.
a wise call to stay out of that one.
And yeah, like we were talking about the hull breaker, now it's coming to fruition here. JSA are so split here. Easy Doctor gets taken down though. They're all sitting on top of that package. Kiritine's trying to get the kills across. Shantan getting destroyed by Nooblis. It's just a trade kill for both carries here.
I think Boy's going to go down here, unfortunately. Kiritine was so close to finishing him off, actually. But he's going to die for his trouble.
Yeah,
Once again, the Aatrox is the last man standing. Kiritine actually putting up a pretty good fight
yeah,
here.
he's got the ref maker healing.
Coming in.
He's going to go down here. No way to escape that chain. But oh my god, that was such a close fight. I thought they managed to turn it around with the combo of the package and that Call of the Forge God, but unfortunately just wasn't enough. Yeah, this Aatrox is sticking to the carries like glue, and they just too far behind to just peel themselves here. He's almost full build, just about. He's just got to sell that Dawn Shield for another item here, and Kaiser just doesn't have enough DPS. He's gone for an interesting pick here. I can see it's sort of working, Blade of the Ruined King into this, but really you just need the heavy hitting items like that Infinity Edge at this point to just really take down the monster that is this Aatrox. But yeah, they don't have
I guess that was the thought process for the Blade of the Ruined King, was to try and kill that Aatrox. But the last few team fights we've seen, he's just been living like completely unscathed. Whether that's just because they were trying to leave him for last so they can burst him down with the team, but it's just not happening. He's so healthy and so tanky. At that point, he's just cleaning up the fights at the end. He's looking so good this game. We've had so many like outstanding players this match. MVP is going to be pretty close.
Yeah, for sure. That'll be a bit of a discussion at the end here, but I do want to bring our attention over to a player that hasn't really been performing as well as we'd expect him to in this tournament. Chris Strider hasn't really been making any flashy plays here, but if you go back and watch, I think the last 4 or 3 team fights, he's landed a charm on the Corki. He's actually just been shutting this Corki down from dealing any significant DPS in these fights, because he just realizes, hey, like, all I need to do is just get to their backline and just stop them from killing my bruisers here, and the Corki has been a big problem.
I guess that's his entire role in these team fights. Just as the RE, you're just really not doing much to their huge tanks like the Ornn. Kiritine's just gonna one-shot you if you even get in range to charm him. So I guess he's just playing his role really well here, and just trying to shut down that Corki. So pretty well played from Chris, but just not the kind of impact that we're looking to see from one of the star players and the big carry from JSA.
Yeah, I don't even think Chris has been playing bad per se. It's just Nooblis and Zonix have been playing amazing this game. You got to give credit where credit is due, and it's just a monster performance from them. But the game is not over yet. Kiritine is doing pretty well himself despite the gold deficit, and
Kiritine went huge in the early game, but it's kind of fallen off a bit since. Obviously he's still one-shotting carries, and he's been living to the edge of those team fights too with his Omnivamp that's been upgraded by Ornn now as well, but it's just not enough to keep up with a level 18 Gorge, Drinker, Sterax, Aatrox at this stage.
Yeah, and we're starting to see those bruisers hit their full builds just about here, and we've still got a couple of items to go. Kiritine does get caught out. Beautiful follow-up from Chris Strider. They've got so much DPS to try and take him down.
He's popping the Zomnias, and the ulti's coming down too. Went in, got the ulti off, but it didn't do enough damage to actually stop anyone.
Yeah,
I think JSA might have found themselves a team-winning fight here.
Yeah, look at the Cloud Drake movement speed. They're running at the speed of light. You're not going anywhere, the ultimate feeder. And you're going to try flash out here, but I don't think they're going to let you go. No, they are.
Oh, he has just escaped, actually. Looks like they've just, they kind of gave that one up and just walked mid. Nooblis is just going to wait for this wave to push in top lane, and they might be able to get double in here even. I think they can definitely force a pretty strong fight. In obviously JSA advantage.
Has to be wary of that Cloud Drake here. The Aatrox does have that available, so he's going to be running him down in the top lane here. I saw Easy Doctor just flash through the mini-map, so yeah, he does end up getting put back, but who cares about the top lane when this Volibear is dunking your turrets there with this Hull Breaker. Ultimate feeder, no flash this time, no chance. Nooblis just still fighting the Corki. Chris Strider's just like, enough is enough. Comes through, finishes off that Corki. and it looks like Job Seekers are going to eventually take this 40-minute game. Kiratin
Kiratin's
trying to make some plays.
He's gonna get that KDA up. Get those
Zonox.
stats happening for the season.
Zonox unfortunately does go down there. He gives a bit of a shutdown. Ruins his KDA a little bit, but they are going to take the game here. Job Seekers takes game 1 for tonight, and what a game that was.
That was actually an excellent game. I think that might have been my favorite game of the season so far.
Yeah, definitely.
Just so nuts.
Alrighty.
Well, I didn't even know where to start for this one.
Yeah, I think I'll switch us over to the client so we can just have a look at the damage values and the score lines just to see if we can get some objective analysis on the MVP vote here. Alrighty, and now we are there at the stat screen, and nothing too crazy here. You kind of expected that damage out of Nublis from his performance. Maybe a little bit out of Zonox, but it should be taken with a grain of salt that as a jungler you're not fighting champions as often. But Unsung Hero was definitely Stairboy on that center there, still doing so much damage despite getting shut down early. But I guess that's
absolutely coming down and actually out damaging the Corki as well. Corki was doing so much in the team fights as well, so yeah, good to see him come up. The early game didn't go his way, but obviously didn't really hinder him that much. He still output so much damage.
Yep, and I think for the side of Job Seekers, it's pretty hard to go wrong here. We saw him get kicked down early, but he still just turned it around, and he just ran a train on AD Astra in those teams.
Been looking across their team, and a lot of bands, seem to get pushed towards Chris Strider's way, and I think it's pretty fair to do that, but I think they're really starting to get a few more players show up in these games where they have just been, playing out of their minds. Nublis has been super consistently playing a really good Aatrox top. Today, I think he played a game last week, and in his scrims, it's been going really well for him. Shortmaster cannot look past that Thresh. He played such a good early game with that Thresh. He was peeling the center at every moment. He just played so well. Zonox was there for just as many counter ganks as he needed to, saving Nublis from, constantly being camped by Kiratin top lane. It was so nuts. I think JSA are actually rounding out to be a really strong team, and Chris Strider maybe just taking a seat back and not being the carrier that we expect from him, but just as important factor and maybe leadership and coaching here. It's going really well for JSA. They're looking really strong at the moment.
And yeah, just with the way that game came down, I think just everyone did pretty well on the side of JSA, but what the game came down to was those team fights where we saw the deciders happen. They were kicked down there, Zonox and Nublis, into a 2v4 situation, and it looked like AD Astra was about to run away with the game, but then Nublis and Zonox turned it around. But unfortunately, I think Nublis just out-edged his jungler there, and I think he's going to be my MVP vote for tonight. So
yeah, absolutely, and Nublis for sure should take that one down. And
there's no contest on the other side either. I think it's pretty clear that even
Kiratin.
though the carriers did do okay, the Easy Doctor definitely had some clutch packages. Chan had a pretty stable performance like the last time he played. He won his MVP for his stable performance, but Kiratin was just so explosive in that early game, and yeah, he didn't really convert it a bit later, but when you're looking into the composition he's facing, it's easy to understand why you can't do much into the center, into the charms from the Ari, into the hooks. And yeah,
absolutely. It was so huge, and Kiratin played on Junk Bloods last year, and he had a bit of a mediocre year. He performed well when we were doing well, and kind of was a bit of a null factor when we fell behind. But just from the game that we've seen today, he was just playing such a proactive early game, which is just infinite improvement from last year already. So happy to give that to him. He made so many good plays top lane against the Aatrox when he was pulling ahead with his lead, and got really important gank spot lane against Stairboy and Shortmaster. So absolutely, ace for this game.
Yeah, so we're going to give that one over, and we're going to get this next match set up, but I believe we are going to say goodbye to good old Billy Willing here, and I'll be moving someone else over. So
I believe Chris Strider will be joining you. Maybe we can have a chat about how that game went. I've got to get ready for my third game. Going to get some quick dinner in, and yeah, we'll see you at 8 o'clock.
Yep. Alright, we'll say farewell to Django. I'll see if I can bring Chris Strider straight into here and we'll get some words from him.
Catch you later.
Alrighty, we are here joined by Chris Strider now for the shoutcasting, and what a game that was. I wonder if he's even got any breath left. There were probably some crazy shot calls. But
yeah, definitely still breathing. Pretty rough a bit early, but we managed to turn it around, and I believed in our 5v5. So, yeah, overall it was a pretty good game, and yeah, shout out to AD Astra for definitely putting the pedal to the metal, so to speak.
Yeah, so don't be afraid to talk about that game, because in the meantime, I'm going to be setting up the next one. So if you just want to run us through some of the important moments, some calls you were making, like your teammates' performances, stuff like that.
Sure. So we'll just do a quick shout out to all my teammates, but in particular Nash and Pat for definitely landing those key hooks and consistent DPS throughout team fights. I knew that Archox is kind of a bit busted at the moment when he hits his power spikes and when he gets his death dance, and he's able just to consistently put DPS, and if you don't focus him down, he just carries team fights over a period of time. And Short Master Pat just landing those hooks, just absolutely amazing. When they really did matter, for example, the last hook onto the Diana and the hook before that kind of started the team fight. We really shut Diana down very early. She wasn't able to get her ult or DPS off, which was really good. And we just hanged in there, and overall it was just really good to see my team actually perform very well. We did make a few mistakes, but you live and you learn. And AD Astra definitely put us on the back seat for the first few moments of the game, and then when it came down to those team fights, it was pretty well overall. So yeah, definitely shout out to my top laner Nash. He definitely stepped it up this game for sure.
Yeah, no, that was an incredible game there, and AD Astra definitely threw a lot of curveballs, just like that Diana in general from the drafting phase. Probably weren't expecting too much, because we usually see the Diana banned away from you, but were you expecting them to play
I was expecting it. Yeah. So I didn't expect it. Like, it was either jungle or mid. I figured out that they were going to either pick Corki or Lucian mid and put Diana in jungle, so we kind of figured out what kind of comp they were going for, and because they locked in Kai'Sa, it kind of helped us win the late game a lot better, because if they have too much hybrid damage and they don't have enough penetration, then Archox is just going to have a hell of a time in those 5v5s. So worked out for us in the end.
Yeah, no, there's just so much to go over that game there. I'm sure you guys are going to be looking back on that game and just like...
Yeah, 41, 42 minutes is pretty, pretty lengthy, yeah.
Yeah, like, I usually like to do VOD reviews every so often, but like, holy crap, I don't know if I'd survive them with a 42-minute game like that. Gotta be a lot for you guys to go over, but yeah,
it does take a toll on your mental, yeah.
Quite the amazing game there, and we're gonna see if these two teams can step it up. I believe we have Casuarina Gentlemen and Purple Cobras here starting to get ready. I think Purple Cobras are just missing one more player, then we're going to kick off Champions Select. But while we are in the interim here, I'm just going to chuck us over to our major sponsors and we'll give them a bit of a shout out. And here we are on the major sponsors screen. Nope, they haven't changed. It's still Paul's Iced Coffee, Macca's Dollars, and Northern Territory Government giving us the funding we need to run the season. So big shout outs to them, guys. I can't stress enough that they're helping us out so much to run this season. I'm just going to let the teams know to start when ready. So they'll kick off chance like whenever.
Yeah, definitely support them. Like, I've been to a few places and using the next tier 10% off badge through the mobile, and got a couple of good burgers and drinks overall from John John's and whatnot.
The discounts, the slice over the minor sponsors, and we can talk about them here. Oh, we are in Champ Select, so I'll speed run these ones. Next day, Entertainment, Serotonin Beauty, VR Games, Game and Creations, Tracy's Village, Social and Sports Club, Howard Spring Taverns, The Rabbit Hole, Palace of India, Fresh Point, John John's, Diamond Barbers, D&K, Wicked Energy, Joyce May, Next Level Gym, and Bell Accounting. And we're going to slide us straight over to the Champ Select. Thank you so much to the minor sponsors. I promise you, once we get into Spectator Delay, we'll probably do a little bit of a spotlight more onto them. But right now, we got to be talking about this Champion Select, which is about to change here. I got to change over the logos, but I'm sure Chris can talk us through some of the bands that are happening right now.
Sure. So on blue side, from Casuarina Gentlemen, we do have the Volley Bear band out. It's a pretty staple champion for tower diving, so respectable band there. And a Kaiser band coming out this early is a bit unorthodox, but they must have done their research, so that's just why they banned it. But now we have a Blitzcrank band, which is quite interesting. I guess that's more of a comfort band, because I think we did play it against them and it kind of threw them off a little bit. And I'm actually quite surprised with the Katarina ban. A lot of people don't know that she's actually quite strong at the moment. So, but in terms of like 5v5 professional play, she's not picked as often, but I guess it's just more of a comfort ban in this instance. And the last ban coming out from Casuarina Gentlemen is Nasus. So I guess he is quite strong at the moment, especially with Hullbreaker. And once he gets those stacks, it's really hard to stop the dog from entering your Nexus. And the last ban coming out from Purple Cobras is Kha'Zix. I guess that's just more of a comfort ban. Don't really see him in competitive play, but nevertheless, it is a ban. But the first pick is actually Nunu, and it can be flexed a little bit, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be going into the jungle. And Vin is being hovered at the moment, so we're going to actually see how it actually plays out. And it is locked in. Vin's probably one of the top 3 junglers at the moment at competitive play and at the highest level in every region of the world. And Tryndamere actually locked in. I'm quite excited, actually.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that is quite the strong first round there. So much 80 damage already drafted onto the side of Purple Cobras. And you can't help but feel when I see something like that, it's just like Malphite's on the board. It's just like almost an instant lock here. It doesn't matter where you shove the Malphite. Just shove the Malphite somewhere into that team composition.
Yeah, but guess what they locked in? They locked in Singed.
But that said, Singed pretty good into these champions. It's just the one gap closer. Normally they dash in on him, but he has the flip to get them off, and there's no real way for that Tryndamere to get back on, or that's in Zhao. Like, he's just out of there. And Nunu himself,
I can just see him running Riftmaker with Rylai's and just being completely annoying for the entirety of the game. But Heimerdinger locked in. What do you think of that, Blade XR?
Heimerdinger is an interesting chance. That is a flex pick. It can go straight into that mid lane role or into the bot lane here, and it just performs so well into both here. But we haven't seen much of Heimerdinger this season in general. I'm not sure why, honestly. I've never been a big Heimerdinger player, but I can only imagine that the mythics don't really suit him too much. Like, he doesn't really feel super comfortable on the Liandry. He doesn't feel super comfortable on the Ludens. The Everfrost is kind of nice to chain with his stun, but again, it's just sort of situational here. So we don't really see too many items synergizing with the champion, but the champion himself is still plenty strong. And I'm excited to see which lane he will go into. Yeah, I've been starting to see a bit of Heimerdinger and Ziggs and solo queue in the bot lane, so it is quite fun to verse. But that's solo queue. But here we actually have the Akali and Thresh bans. I guess Casuarina Gentlemen don't like hook type champions in general. And Akali, probably a normal staple ban, really hard to deal with in lane unless you pick something like a Lucian or something to bully her out. But the Morgana ban actually coming out last, and it is quite an interesting ban because Casuarina Gentlemen banned away Blitz and Thresh, so I'm just interested to see what they actually pick. Yeah, Morgana still could be a counter to like something they want. This team on the right has lots of champions to get in there, but there's not really super strong engage. And now with the Misfortune, I think they really do need a support to just really set up this team comp that's going to be jumping in on them or dropping the Misfortune ult. And I'm looking at champions like Rel, looking at champions like Leona to find that sort of opening to get them in there to just round off this composition. So we'll see what they go with. Norlis is locked in. This Tristana probably wants to be jumping onto that Misfortune, and Norlis is basically the perfect champion to back her up there and lock her down. So they're going to take that one away.
I
And
think that's a Tristana mid, eh? I think it is.
it could definitely be. Interested to see this sort of matchup into the Heimerdinger. And speaking of other 80 carries mid, it could be a Lucian mid for all we know. Like, either or here, pick your poison. Both of these 80 carries are notorious for jumping into that mid lane here, and one of them is going in there. We just don't know which one yet. But as the trades come through, we'll probably get an idea. And
Oh, there we go.
Lux is picked to finish off this composition. They did lack a little bit of that magic damage, so that I hope rounded out. And if she finds a good binding, everyone can just basically dogpile on that one. So not exactly the strongest engage, but definitely the safe engage tool that they can use to try to find some of these picks onto these squishy 80 carries. It's just you got to be very concerned for that Lux if she does ever get hooked away or caught out by that Singed. It's not exactly the best champion in those scenarios. We'll see how she performs.
I think Lux is going to have a really hard time just because you can kind of telegraph her binding and Singe can just literally run around it. So they really have to prioritize vision to get those Lux snares to really work out for them. But what do you think of the team compositions, Liam? Who are you favoring at the moment? Purple Cobras or CG Casuarina Gentlemen?
I think, honestly, when it comes down to it, the Casuarina Gentlemen have it for me. There's just an incredible amount of dive onto the side of that Xin Zhao and Tryndamere. They're going to be wanting to get on top of your carries, but there's pretty decent peel with the Singe, with the Nunu, with the Nautilus, but most importantly, both these 80 carries are extremely hard to get onto. Lucian's so mobile, Tristana mobile, and she has that ultimate to get the carries off of him. I think they have to make a pretty grave error in order to get caught out by these sort of champions by Xin Zhao and Tryndamere. That said,
Tristana's range late game, definitely forced to be reckoned with that extra auto attack range. I feel like Tryndamere and Xin are going to have a hard time engaging later on.
Yeah, I think though if we do look at the isolated matchups here, I do kind of favor the Heimerdinger into the Lucian matchup here. Just Lucian does want to dash in and get great trades off on his opponent, but if you're dashing into turrets, it's not easy to deal with, and Lucian has particularly short range, so trying to whittle down those turrets and kill them without trading any damage back, it's going to be pretty difficult. So interested to see how that matchup plays out, but yeah, that bot lane is looking pretty explosive, and I'd be surprised if we don't see Nunu sending some attention down that way.
Definitely, and I'm actually surprised that's a Tryndamere jungle, to be honest, unless they haven't swapped, but that's what it's looking like at the moment. Blade XR, so I guess Tryndamere is going to be slightly delayed more in terms of actually accelerating his late game, but we'll just see how it actually pans out. I guess we're going to do a quick shout out to our minor sponsors.
Yeah, we've still got a minute on the spectator delay. Sorry for that black screen there. I thought I had on a different scene, but I'm not paying attention. So now we'll just give a shout out to the minor sponsors that we just kind of speed ran through before. I'm probably just going to pick out a random sponsor here to just talk about and actually just to advertise some of the other league going on. VR Gamers right now. I'm sure you've heard whispers about this place, but if you haven't gone and checked it out, please do. That it looks so amazing in person. The lights they got there are crazy. The PCs they've got built up, the VR, it's all amazing there. And just to shout out some of the other esports league going on right now, that we are running a fighting game night as we speak. There's Tekken and Super Smash Bros. Competitions going on at VR Gamers right now. I believe it happens every 2 weeks, so if you guys didn't catch them this week, then make sure you're keeping an eye on the page just to catch them either 2 weeks from now or whenever next they're going to host it, because I think VR Gamers is the selected venue for those competitions. So if you want to catch some fighting games, make sure you head on down and you meet all the guys there. Super friendly owner of that store. Those guys are awesome. Can't stress that enough at VR Gamers. And I'm sure in due time throughout the season, these other sponsors will get their own shout out, but we're already going to head into the match as the spectator delay is over. I'm going to switch us over to the gameplay here, and hopefully we get another exciting match after that banger of a game one.
Definitely a long banger, that's for sure.
Yeah, that was
kind of mentally exhausted a little bit, but it just makes you wonder how the pros actually pull it off in the scenes around the world. They just do it day after day, non-stop. So.
It was such a long and just I'm playing on a knife's edge the whole time. The game was so even, so much. You couldn't see the gold values, but we could, and it was just basically neck and neck the entire game. Just one team had a maximum of 1,000 gold lead until just some of those later on fights. And yeah, here we go, loading onto the Rift here. Don't know whether we'll see some invades of this team. They have a pretty aggressive comp onto the red side, so you can't help but feel they want to make some early game plays here. But I'd say in terms of the level 1, definitely I'd give it over to Casuarina Gentleman in terms of just raw strength. So they got to be careful here walking into this jungle. But looks like we're stacking a tri-bush, and red team are just going to be holding down the fort. Ooh. The flash comes out. He doesn't flash in response. He does now, but the exhaust is there. The snowball's coming in. Oh yeah, and Nunu.
He started snowball.
The snowball was just slowly but surely making his way towards that Misfortune. Misfortune, unfortunately, not the most mobile champion at level 1, is going to go straight down to that. And
yeah, a bit of an error.
Good response from Superman, seeing that Misfortune out. She just probably wanted to get a look, but as soon as she showed herself, that Nautilus is already flashing over the wall, and if you don't have good reflexes onto that other flash key, then you're just doomed there. I don't think Misfortune could have done anything to get out of that situation once the hook landed.
Yeah, just decided to wait for the hook instead of flashing, but I guess that's what you get with playing with fire. But pretty standard jungle starts on both sides. Purple Cobra's opting for the blue start, and Casuarina Gentleman for the red start. But I'm guessing this early game's going to go pretty slow unless we see some spicy top lane shenanigans from Singe and Tryndamere. But yeah, it looks like they didn't swap in time, and so the pick order's a bit random, but we'll just have to play with it.
I think some teams do prefer to slot their other players over just because some people have more champions at the start, so it helps them in draft. So I think they did communicate that to me. So Nervous is going to be the jungler here. Cantanker's Jim in the top lane, but in terms of the early game aggression, like normally I wouldn't expect too much in these sort of matchups, but just these teams from what we saw in round 1, both pretty aggressive teams. Unfortunately, it didn't favor. Oh, the level 2 power spike. He's actually going to get the flash out already.
Nervous flash.
Yeah, he had to be careful because Singed is rocking that ignite there. You see the summoner spellbook. He's going to drop that ignite and switch out to some other aggressive summon. There's no doubt on my mind here.
Yeah, unfortunately you didn't see the level 2 in time and just got pretty much yeeted into a flash. So a bit unfortunate there for Tryndamere, but overall Lucian definitely shoving in this Heimerdinger, which we don't see very often. So I'm guessing Heimerdinger's trying to set up some
god,
we got it early.
Yeah, they're just caught out. This MF with no flashes just walked into her and doomed there. Nautilus just walked straight up behind her, and unfortunately she didn't respond in time. It's already going to get taken out there. And Nervous
so bottom is flashless at 3 minutes, so that's
like I said, the Nautilus Tristana combo is just going to be so hard to play around if you ever give a lead over, and they did it at the start of the game. So we're just going to see this Nautilus and this Tristana just non-stop going in. This top lane's going so in favor of the Singe, but he's out of mana here, so I don't think he's going to be able to finalize that kill onto the Tryndamere. And yeah, in terms of the jungle, Zinzao not finding the scuttles he wants here either. His gank path is warded, so I don't think we're going to see much action.
Yeah.
So just already Casuarina Gentleman coming out swinging. You can see the gold lead already amounting to 1,000 here. And yeah,
quite a bit.
Apart from the top lane, they're laying dominance across the map there. So it's a pretty good start.
It is definitely a good start, and yeah, unfortunately no mana there for Singe to finish that off. But the fact that bot lane already has such an insurmountable lead, you just can't really put any, emphasis on bot lane coming back unless Zinzao actually comes through. But we'll see if Zinzao actually tries to accelerate this Tryndamere. I feel like that might be one of their hopes for later on. But
yeah, all the split pushing item buffs this patch, you can't help but feel that maybe that's a new win condition for this team here. Like, the side of Casuarina Gentleman are pretty good in the team fights, but in terms of stopping a split pushing Tryndamere, like if he gets a big enough lead onto the Singe, I don't see any reason why the Tryndamere can't just go up to the turrets and start whacking away.
Especially with those resistances and hull breakers, just insane. So we'll see if Purple Cobras can actually pull that off in the next, I would dare to say, the next 20 minutes, but we'll see how it pans out after his third item. But Superman looking for those big juicy hooks.
Yeah, just looking for the 1v2, give me some space, show some respect there as he just runs up 1v2, just pushing the Lux and the Misfortune back in. What can they do when you're falling this behind? so early. If they do turn around and start fighting that Nautilus, then the Tristana's jumping over and she's probably dropping some bodies. So yeah, you can't really do anything but let that Nautilus just abuse you like that. But Xin Zhao,
they're so far up. Oh.
Xin Zhao is looking for an angle here. I'm looking to see some ganks from the Xin Zhao in the early game because he's not exactly known for his scaling, but Frog Spotter has been spotted in the bot lane here. He's already looking for this dragon, and Nervous doesn't want to let it go, but
they could catch
they
him
got
out,
to
but
converge.
nah. So this is slightly risky for Purple Cobras to actually look at this Drake, but it looks like Casuarina Gentleman opted out to take the way out, just keep their lead as the way it is. But yeah, I will really want to see this Singe proxy, but I guess that's not really meta anymore. What do you think about that, Blade X?
I think it's still plenty viable, especially with all the champions we saw bot lane here. It's just into the likes of Tryndamere. Normally it's really effective into the champs with bad wave clear, but Tryndamere has a life scepter. He's not exactly great at wave clear, but he's not bad. He's not going to take a lot of damage from that wave here, so it's better to play like close to the Tryndamere, try and harass him a bit, maybe set up a potential dive. But now that he's clocked over to that level 6, I can see the matchup going a bit more into the favor of this Tryndamere. He's landed that slow here, no what should we call it, fling from the Singe, but yeah, doesn't find anything. And there's a big engage onto Nervous here on the Xin Zhao. I think he's done.
Yeah, he's definitely done. Oh, he flashed. And yeah, it looks like this Donga will be forced to flash here, unfortunately.
Yeah, the reset comes through, allows just Conditioner to play hop, skip, jump onto the enemy team's heads there. And yeah, we're seeing Casuarina Gentleman play really well as a unit here. And I think that's one of the main criticisms I had in their first game. I believe it was versus Destiny. It's just Destiny was playing as a unit, just really picking them apart here. And now we're seeing them move as a unit already. Round 2, making huge adaptations. And yeah, they're just given Purple Cobras such a hard time here.
Yeah, they're definitely getting their vision down. They're pretty much suffocating the Xin Zhao in the jungle. We'll see if he can actually get a smite down. But nah, he opts to not even go close to that Nautilus. So, a bit unfortunate there. But yeah, 2.5k gold lead just about at 7 minutes. And yeah, that's quite a lead already.
Yeah, first game was extremely long, but we might be looking at an extremely short game too. If Purple Cobras can't find anything to turn it around, I think once this Xin Zhao clocks over level 6, we got to start to see some pressure come from the Xin Zhao here because he's not scaling into anything. I believe he's rushing the Defiant Sundra, so maybe on that power spike we can see some plays. But look at this bot lane, they just don't care. They're walking up to him. Hectic Antiseptic tries to flash out, but you can't go anywhere with this composition. Yeah, this
is really unfortunate for Purple Cobras here, just not respecting the Nautilus after like the 10th hook he's thrown this game.
Yeah.
They're opting to walk up for CS, and they're just getting punished left, right, and center. And they know Xin Zhao's not there because he was just there, you know, a minute ago. And now he's clearing his top side. So they definitely got a few deep ink wards, so they knew that they were definitely free to take their pickings off the buffet, so to speak, from their bot lane. But yeah, looking pretty rough at the moment for Purple Cobras.
Yeah, and Superman has been setting these kills up left, right, and center. He's playing it so calm and collected. He knows when he needs to throw out the hook, and he knows when he can just walk up and pressure these immobility carries. But here we go, Malix comes through, comes straight through and denies Nervous. I told the Xin Zhao to start ganking, but if you're not careful versus the team that's ahead, they're just going to turn it on you and just make you look stupid. And that's exactly
that right into a culling too. That was just pretty good play overall from Casuarina Gentleman. But
yeah,
this game is definitely accelerating very quickly.
Yeah, this is kind of why I wanted to see that level 6 come through. Lux might be dead here. They have summoners, but they're not going to even commit anything here. They're just like, okay, you can escape now, but we're going to pick you up later. We're going to be taking your turret plates. And Bin Laden has been really the only one keeping stabilized during all of this. But I mean, Cantankerous Jim, has been doing pretty well for himself, but Tryndamere is basically the only lane that hasn't super collapsed yet. Mid lane's already given out a huge gold lead, and Lucian's participated in a lot of kills. So, fortunately, the mid lane gold there, as you can see, is already like spiked to about 1k gold gap. But currently, Tryndamere has the lead in this top lane, and that's a pretty good statement considering you're going against the MVP of the last week. That Singed absolutely destroyed Nublis, who Nublis just hard carried last game pretty much, and now Cantankerous Jim is just destroying the dude who destroyed Nooblist. So I don't know, like, who's
I
holding the
wouldn't use
champion belt?
destroy, but yeah, I get what you mean. But yeah, it's definitely good to see these type of players able to just turn on a switch and don't let the last game affect them whatsoever. But we've got a good gank here from Frogbotter, and that's a dead Heimerdinger.
No flash, no chance there. Unfortunately for the immobile Heimerdinger, that is one of the main weaknesses of the champions, and Nunu is very good at exploiting it there, coming from behind his own jungle. If you're not getting the vision down, Nunu is just going to make your life hell with that snowball. And yeah, he's just going to convert that in such a big lead here with the Rift Herald. Nervous already 2 levels down, just struggling to get anything back. But look at Superman, see what I mean? He's just walking up, and unless Lux is throwing out these bindings to stop him in his track, he's just going to get there for free. This bot lane needs to play better
start
at keeping
respecting really quickly. Yeah. They need to start respecting very quickly.
Yeah, unfortunately, no flash. They're just going to walk through. Your Lux is dead. Who's going to save you? This bot lane is ours. They've claimed it. Conditioner and Superman putting on a clinic how to snowball with this champion. And yeah, it's the perfect champions to do it. Tristan and Nautilus just don't allow you to walk into lane if they get a significant lead like this. And yeah, I think it's already curtains for the bot lane here. But it's basically curtains for the rest of the map. It's just straight domination from Casuarina Gentlemen here.
Yeah, and they're actually doing something really good. They're not opting to take the turret just yet. They don't want to give any extra gold to Purple Cobras if they're able to freeze there. So that's very good awareness coming out of Casuarina Gentlemen there. And yeah, very impressed with their bot lane, particularly Superman landing those big hitbox hooks. If you can't dodge them, you're pretty much dead if you don't have flash. So yeah, looking pretty rough.
Yeah, in terms of just putting MVPs out, I'd say like Superman has the lead in my opinion here. Yes, Conditioner is getting the kills. He's following up, but the play starts off with the support, and he's landing all his hooks. I don't think this Nautilus has missed a single hook just yet, and he is just making it so easy for Conditioner. Conditioner ease the minion there, but I don't think it's going to matter. As Hectic Antiseptic, still, this game has looked like he hasn't had a flash. And yeah, Conditioner's just like, all you need.
Getting slapped. Oh.
Bin's going to come in for the Heimerdinger. Unfortunately, no follow-up. Lucian is going to just get a free culling off. Nervous doesn't make that flash happen over the wall, unfortunately. And yeah, just Casuarina Gentleman snowballing all across the map. Another hook lands! I told you, he doesn't miss.
Gosh, he doesn't miss. I'm pretty sure he's only missed one the entire game, and that was on purpose. But man, yeah,
it's
all right, eh?
It's crazy.
This is a perfect game coming out of Casuarina Gentlemen.
Yeah, that's what I would start looking for if I'm Purple Cobras. Alright, team, we're probably not gonna win this game. We can't make perfect macro decisions, but let's get on the board at least. Let us take something back here. And I don't know where you're gonna do it, but you gotta formulate a game plan quick, because this lead is just ballooning so fast. I'd say the only hope you have is based around that Tryndamere here, so possibly look for advantages there, but the Rylai's is already completed, and the matchup into the Tryndamere now just gets so much easier now that he's just not going to be able to consistently auto you. Nunu is rolling up too.
Looks like we'll see who gets it. I'm pretty sure Nunu gave a chance for Tryndamere to actually steal that, but just opts out.
Nunu procs the phase rush, runs over the scuttle crab, and all of a sudden that Nunu is running faster than your average Hecarim.
Oh, that's so quick.
Yeah.
Like this team composition is kind of scary when you really think about it. Like if they get even a lead, like even a small lead, they can accelerate the game so fast. And I just feel like Purple Cobras are just at the bad end of the stick. Hopefully they can get on the scoreboard at the end of the game, but it's really hard to shout past the game like this. But just got to give all the praise to Casuarina Gentlemen. Looks like they've really done their research, and they've really found an identity with their composition in terms of what everyone needs to do, and they're proactive around the map. They have pink wards all over the enemy jungle, and looks like they're opting for an engage here.
Yeah, but they are outnumbered here. The Heimer isn't there yet. Nervous, he's going to get chucked into 3. He has the Zinzao to keep himself alive, but it's not going to last long enough. Eventually, actually,
that Nautilus ultimate.
And the Heimer's coming in. They're dropping pretty low here, but the Heimer has no turrets. The Heimer's got no turrets to play around here, unfortunately. And yeah,
He went for the big flank, but that's not quite how the champion works. But yeah, Singe definitely with that build though. Oh, okay.
Malik's probably saw the after image of some champions there, decides to take care of him. Lucian pretty good at ghost slaying, does destroy, maybe he's been playing some Phasmophobia, I've just heard a siren behind them or something, I don't know. That culling was not MVP worthy. Let's just leave it at that.
Alright, so Trindamir's first item, Gale Force. What do you actually think of that purchase?
Trindamir's first item, Gale Force. Like I said, these carries are extremely mobile, so I kind of respect the purchase. If the Lucian dashes away, you are able to Gale Force after him, but of course Lucian is just going to use the Gale Force of his own. You really got to place your spin to wins pretty well here to stay on top of these carries as a Trindamir, but I think that extra mobility is going to go the extra mile here to help him get on top of these carries, and that's really where they need to focus in order to get this win here, because if the carries are staying alive, this Tristan is so fed with the Kraken Slayer, the Lucian's so accelerated as well in the mid lane. If you're not taking care of the carries, I think your team's going to just fall over in a couple seconds here. So Trinamir has a good idea, but unfortunately there's just too much pressure from the other lanes now. We see bot lanes rotating up. This starts to get very difficult for the Trinamir to start finding those openings. Laning phase is over. And yeah, now he finds himself in the 1v2, and unfortunately I don't think he's strong enough to win that.
Yeah, definitely a lot of pings coming out, Casuarina gentlemen, so they definitely have a lot of deep wards, so they always know where Xin is, which is really good. It's just a bit unfortunate that not many sweepers coming out of Purple Cobras, but I guess they're just too scared to go in their jungle in general. But it looks like another engage potentially here. They're looking for the Heimerdinger.
Yeah, this is kind of like
leave it as is.
The awkward phase when you're so far ahead early on. The Rift Herald's not spawning, the Dragons aren't spawning, but you're not particularly fed enough to just force dives. So you're kind of just waiting for the objectives to spawn here to accelerate your lead. The Rift Herald is used bot lane, it's probably on a net turret, or maybe even two if they're lucky. Hectic Antiseptic. That's not where you want to be, buddy, and he's just going to get tossed straight away. The Lux also, no mobility into that Riley Singe. He's just going to stand there and get taken down. Cantankerous Jim, he is pretty fed here, but like I said, look at him just get kited here. What can you do? All the champions just look like they're just rooted. And
yeah.
The Ignite just...
Oh, he flashes into the base. I guess, it's acceptable at this point.
The knockback goes against the Xin there, and he's just going to get taken down. Malix is just picking up all these freebies, getting set up by his top laner here, and yeah, they're starting to group up together to take down this bot tower, and there's just no way back into this game, unfortunately. The lead is just ballooned too large here. Maybe you pick up a kill if you're lucky.
Oh, that was close.
Yeah, if the MF had ult there, then that would have been a pretty good pickup onto the Nunu. Unfortunately, make it rain on that ADMF isn't going to be without putting any damage onto that take Nunu. And yeah, look at them, just afraid to walk into their own towers here, just so spread apart. You've got 4 champions in the bot lane just trying to kill the minions at this point, just fighting over the scraps.
I guess they are.
It's pretty ugly, but yeah, what else can you do in the Purple Cobra's shoes here? This is probably where you start to just like, just start to think where it went wrong. I don't really like to dwell on games like this that aren't really comebackable. I'd rather just like use this time to just like discuss and be like, alright, so what mistakes did we make? Because yeah, we're about to see Malix just point blank cull that MF, and he's gonna miss the end tail of it, but he's got the Gale Force and the dash. Mobility on deck there for the Lucian to chase up that kill. But
yeah, they definitely secured that one. But yeah, like you said, hopefully Purple Cobras definitely look over their footage and realize what went wrong. If it was draft phase or just execution, or not just respecting the Nautilus in general. But yeah, they're definitely waiting for this Baron to close out the game. They could potentially close it if they wanted to sooner, but I guess they're just going to make sure everything is in order, so they close it out nice and neat with a perfect KDA. And this game kind of reminds me when SKT first went to Worlds and they had a very similar performance. I believe they went 24-1 against an opening game. I can't remember which team it was though, but sort of similar vibes here.
Yeah, they're very dominant. Everything they touch is turning into gold into their pockets, including enemy champions. They're just
wondering how much each of them are worth at this rate.
they're rolling over everyone. This Trinity is trying to keep it together, but yeah, at this point, it's basically like window shopping for Casuarina Gentlemen. They're just so fed, and yeah, if I was Purple Cobras,
here we go.
The culling comes through, tries to drop the abilities, at least get some damage on the board, but yeah, nothing to be done here. And look at these two melee champions, this is what I was talking about. What can they do? Look how slow they are. Oh, they're gonna pick up the Lucian on the board, 1k shutdown. Oh, and Diamond Ding is just dying under his own tower to the cinch with the Rylays. What are you gonna do here?
I think Alex has to buy pizza tonight if he died, but I'm not sure what his team's going to say about that. But he might get picked up here.
Laden also might be ordering some pizza.
Oh, he can't get a crit.
He can't get a crit. He can't get the spin into range, and he might die there. Oh, he's going to run back.
Oh no, he pressed Ghost. Is he going to commit?
Nah, he's not. Oh, the lasers there doesn't quite do enough. So close. Endome almost picks that one up again, but just not quite there. Bin Laden escapes with his life.
Yeah, definitely on nice edge, so to speak. He's definitely in those single digits and just always, I guess, weird flexing in this game. But when you're that fed and you're that confident and you're in a comfort pick, yeah, definitely flex away. But maybe they can. The one thing that Casuarina Gentlemen can probably take away from this game is that they're very proactive on the map, a lot of vision. Maybe look into their build, see if they've done anything wrong, but you can't really fault what they've done because I just felt like everything's been perfectly executed from the first 30 seconds to that invade. So
yeah, no, if I was Casuarina Gentlemen, I'd have all 4 of my team members flaming Malix here for giving up that death. For sure, yeah. He's playing so aggressive, you can't fault him. He's just trying to flex on him here, but yeah, just ruined the perfect game. What else can you say? But if I'm Purple Cobras here, then I'm starting to look at just at this point, like, mechanics are one thing that's important, but when you have an early game go that bad, you have to start looking at the issues as a team. Like, what did we do wrong? What vision did we have? Where was my jungler? Where was the enemy jungler? You know, these things matter a lot because they were just getting out roamed and stuff. And I would talk about the gameplay going on in the background if it wasn't just so hard to talk about. Bin Laden diving.
He's gonna die.
Ends up going down there, but. Yeah, it's
now
just...
Malix can't be the only one to fault this fine. So it looks like Casuarina Gentlemen's definitely going to close out here, taking all triple inhibs in TSM style. Looking to close out here, and they're just so fed beyond belief. And Superman finally misses a hook.
No.
It just shows they are human. So
Superman is in fact human. He isn't the Marvel or the DC superhero. Excuse me. What is going on? Superman don't die. He's running away from Cantanker's gym. He picks him up. Cantanker's gym trying to keep his team alive here. 2-1 on that Trinity with the quick blades. Lots of dashes available now if he ends up finding those crits. But yeah, no ult here.
Low on Casuarina Gentlemen.
Yeah, he's looking for an angle, but he doesn't have the ultimate available in that Trinity. Look at the damage out of conditioner. Just picks up Nervous there. And yeah, Endome next to follow. Hectic Antiseptic almost goes down, but saved by the Nexus. And yeah, Casuarina Gentlemen pick up that game there. So,
well, that was a very interesting game to definitely commentate shoutcast about, but definitely a really good game coming out of Casuarina Gentlemen, and they're definitely looking like a very formidable opponent moving forward in the scene here in the NT. But that pretty much wraps up that game, and I guess we're good. We have a bit of time before we get into game 3, don't we, Bladeexer?
Yeah, we have plenty of time after that speedrun of a game. Fortunate for Purple Cobras to go down there, but, you know, at least, you know, it's easier to learn from your defeats than it is from your victories here. Casuarina Gentlemen had a great game. They probably found out what worked, but it's much easier for Purple Cobras to go back over that early game and just look at the rotates that were happening and just try and either A, stop it from happening in the future, or try and emulate it yourselves. There's no shame in copying what's working. That's what the meta is at pro players. So they need to really just work out what really works for them in the early games, because I do notice they're still flipping around their players as well. The Hectic Antiseptic was in the mid lane and he found himself in the bot lane, probably in an unfamiliar role, so you can't really fault any bad performances there. So this team needs to find out their identity, find out the meta they're going to play, and, you know, just give it their best shot versus these teams. kind of looking forward to how this team improves in the future. But right now, I think Casuarina Gentlemen are just a step ahead. They've got their style figured out. They ran the double 80 carries and they ran it all the way to the enemy nexus in a clean 23 minutes. So just what else can you say from that game for them? But
Yeah.
I guess we'll throw it over to the MVP voting here. I'm going to transition us over to the stat screen. And we can talk from there. So just looking at the damage numbers there, Malix was playing like like a man with a mission there. He just was running into enemy bases, just throwing Cullings out left, right, and center, trying to just pad his stats as much as possible here. But I find it surprising that Ben is actually not that far behind him, despite not having the craziest early game. Yeah, quite close between those two. But I think there weren't anything super flashy from these two players this game, and my player to watch that game, at least in the early game, the one who really got that ball rolling was Superman for sure on that Nautilus pick.
Definitely.
So
that invade definitely started things out right for Casuarina Gentlemen. I mean, they just kept repeating the same formula over and over again, and before you knew it, Conditioner was so far ahead at 10 minutes. It was definitely very hard for Purple Cobras to even mount any sort of retaliation. So who do you think? Who do you think is MVP?
I'm leaning towards that Superman pick. I see some people in the chat. Corey, shout outs to you, throws in his vote. No question there for Superman as well. So you got to give supports that love. Like serving it up on a silver platter for his entire team in that invade, serving up his Tristana so many kills, and he didn't just leave it at that. He started roaming towards the mid lane, and he's got the ball rolling there for Malix. Like beautiful performance from all players from Casuarina Gentlemen, but in terms of the player who really got it started and like kicked things off with a bang, it's just got to be that Nautilus Superman right there. So that's my MVP
agree.
for the game. For Casuarina Gentlemen, but now we got to talk about Purple Cobras, and to me, it's actually pretty different once you look at the statistics. Did you expect this Heimerdinger to perform this well?
I just felt like when he was getting dove by everyone, he would just drop his turrets and his ultimate and just dish out whatever damage he could. But at the same time, I saw Malix just walking into turrets trying to get DPS on the Donga in general, so that's probably why his statistics were a bit ballooned. But I was a bit surprised. The Donga can always dish out damage like he always does in every game.
Yeah,
so,
that is super true, but I'm also just surprised that Kentenko's gem had a pretty solid performance there, no doubt, but his damage doesn't reflect the performance you were expecting, right? Is a bit of
definitely.
a bit akin to the zero damage Tryndamere of old, where the Tryndamere player would literally play just to kill enemy towers. He wouldn't hit his lane opponent. He wouldn't team fight at all. He'd literally go and just run it down top lane, trying to get to the nexus through towers with zero damage to enemy champions. I'm not sure if anyone's seen those sort of videos or those Reddit posts, but that was a bit of a challenge back in the day. People tried to win the game as Tryndamere by dealing zero damage to champions.
That's definitely opening up Pandora's box from way back when, but
yeah, in terms of MVP for this team, I think it's hard to go wrong. He had the best scoreline. He didn't exactly have the best stats to match it up, but yeah, the Tryndamere was basically the only stable player there for Purple Cobras. Again, his Nasus last time he played was very stable. He was laning into Django from Youngbloods. Now he found himself laning into Bin from Casuarina Gentlemen, both pretty good experienced top laners in their own right. We saw Bin do really well into another experienced top laner, Nublis. Like these top laners are really looks like there's a lot of sharks in the top lane that are all fighting for that top position. Yeah, and it's so early on in the competition we can't see who's the best. But I'd say Kentenko's gem is a pretty big dark horse in this competition. His team has been performing the best, but he has been performing just fine. And
definitely holds his own.
I think if Purple Cobras do turn around their game plan and they find what works and they start getting some wins on the board, I think Kentenko's gem is going to play a big part of it. And I don't really like to give back-to-back MVPs, but I think I've got no choice here. He's just been playing so well.
And he has 204 CS in a game where he was his team got dominated. So the fact that he was able to farm quite well is also a little achievement on the side as well.
Yeah, no, he had a crazy amount of gold in comparison to the rest of his team. They're almost 4,000 up on his next team members. Unfortunately, not so easy to match the gold members of the enemy team that were picking up all these kills, but he definitely did a fine job himself. So I think I'm going to give over my MVP vote to Cantanker's Gym there, and yeah, that'll do us for round 2, game 2 there, and we have still plenty of time before this next match, so I think we might throw it over to a
18
music.
minutes.
Just throw it over to a music break. We can get this match set up in the background, and yeah, you guys might. It's about dinner time now for a lot of you. If you haven't grabbed the snack, if you haven't made your dinner, do it quick because you got 17 minutes before this next match starts. So we will be back in 17 minutes, guys. Does Chris Strider have anything else to say before we head to the break?
Not at the moment. It's just exciting to see more competition in this year's next tier gaming league. So I'm looking forward definitely to the future games.
Yeah, no doubt that there are some killers already in the bracket, and we've got new blood in the scene, Purple Cobras, that just have nowhere to go but up here. So I'm looking forward to the development of all these teams as the season goes on. So we'll see which teams are going to end up on top at the end here. But yeah, looking like a great season so far, guys. Stick around. We'll be back shortly with the final game of the night, which will be For Fun versus Youngbloods. And this actually For Fun's debut game because they actually FF'd their first game. They forfeited because they didn't have their players, but hopefully they've got things sorted out tonight, and they'll be going up against one of the killers in the tournament, which is Team Youngbloods, who are currently undefeated. So we'll see if they can end the streak. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back shortly.
See you soon.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We're about to get into this champion select here, and just as I say it, we are straight in. I'll transition us over to the scene. And we can have a look at what the champions are, what are the players are gonna pick here. So, do I still have Chris Strato with me? Yes, I do.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Of course, we see the Zoe band to kick us off here. I think just like you're familiar with the Diana and the Renekton bands, Dark Knight finds himself very familiar with not being able to play his favorite champ, which is that Zoe,
Yeah.
of course. What are your thoughts on the stance of like people who favor one champion? You know, like do you think it's a huge detriment to your game plan and stuff like that, or do you find it pretty easy to transition yourself to other champions?
Well, if you played League long enough, you definitely would learn at least your backup picks and stuff like that, and you definitely know the matchups. Just the confidence of being a one trick, like if people can one trick to Challenger or whatever, then, you know, that's just the respect they put on that champion. So they know that they're mechanically on point and they won't really make any mistakes with that, you know, main pick, so to speak. But, yeah. We've obviously seen Dark Knight play other picks outside of the Zoe and LeBlanc, but we'll see what he pulls out this game. But the bans have been quite interesting so far. What are your thoughts, Blade?
Yeah, there's a bunch of, I think, split pusher bans on the side for fun there. Definitely adapting to the patch, I think, is the Hullbreaker and the Chains item have just come out of nowhere and just, like, exploded side lane pressure. I'm just going to transition us over, guys, quick. Of course, I keep forgetting logos. I promise I will eventually learn, but you probably won't see till, like, week 12. But, hey, the logos are fixed right now, and we see the stock standard Urgot for Django. He's found himself on that pick quite often, but he just straight away picked it into the Fiora, not scared of that split push threat at all there. He wants to take that Urgot straight into that Fiora matchup. He's straight confident, and the Sejuani that just absolutely obliterated, I forget which team it was, but Nichu Sejuani was unforgettable with those ganks. He was just putting so much pressure on a normally passive champion, you'd say, and he just exploded the early game last time he played it. So excited to see his Sejuani's again, and we'll see what they pick to answer it. I think Fiora's already pretty good into that Sejuani matchup, but they're going to pick up a Galio to like counter engage possibly. When that Sejuani dives in, having that Galio ult to peel off anyone is super good, and when you're pairing it with a Volibear like that, yeah, this team is already looking so beefy, so tanky, and I think Youngblood's got to respond with a bit of a damage threat here, for sure. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like Youngbloods don't want to give away too much, but at the same time, they've definitely gone to their comfort picks 100%. Like Nichu and Sejuani got on Django. Pretty sure Django insta-locked it as soon as he was able to. But I feel like the Zyra here, it's okay. It's a decent engage, disengage with that AoE ult, but I don't think that's going to stop a Volibear or a Galio. So I think that's just more for DPS. So I think they're going to probably pick something else in the mid lane, but the ban's coming out. Ezreal ban is quite interesting, especially with the Sunder nerfs. But I guess they just don't want to deal with that poke in general. But I'm really liking the Fiora pick here. I'm interested to see if she'll actually build Hullbreaker or not in the late game. But we'll just see how that actually works out for them.
Yeah. Super excited here to see where the Zyra is going to end up here. Traditionally, you see it support, but Dark Knight has been known to bust out some untraditional champions in the mid lane. He's played the Nico, he's played the Brand mid, and you could argue both of these champions fit into the support role. But yeah, he's picked up the Zyra here. It could still go towards Astra on that support, but yeah, it wouldn't even surprise me if Dark Knight ends up playing that mid here. It's just into that composition so far.
Well, he did have a killer Brand last game.
Yeah, no, that Brand absolutely destroyed. He just snowballed so hard in that mid lane there, and just if it wasn't for Nick just performing so well, I'm pretty sure in that same game, then yeah, he would have taken the MVP for sure. But we see the Nico get taken away anyway. They're still scared of that champion, but particularly in Dark Knight's hands. And yeah, we'll see what the response is, and if you've got a bunch of tanks on the enemy team, like who else are you going to pick but Vayne to just shred them apart? And even Fiora's going to have a hard time really getting onto that Vayne in these team fights here, isn't she?
Yeah, definitely. Like, just Vayne just has so much mobility, and if they pick a mid laner that enables her further, I just feel like it's gonna be really hard to lock her down, especially if you got like Zyra and Sejuani in the mix. But we'll see what they actually pick here. And Tristana's actually locked in, which is probably a decent counter to Vayne at all stages of the game. So I would say Tristana's probably the best AD carry in the patch at the moment, ever since the changes to Sundra, and obviously Ezreal and Varus have fallen off. So I felt like the bans that have actually come out from Young Bloods were kind of like last patch bans in terms of Ezreal and Varus. They've fallen off a little bit, but they're still strong regardless. And Kassadin actually being locked in here. This is quite confident coming out from their mid laner.
Yeah, I was gonna say they are missing a bit of magic damage in their compositions here. They probably needed that AP mid laner to round things out, and yeah, Kassadin being locked in is definitely that. It's just, can you survive the early game, or the possible even counter pick we're about to see here from Dark Knight. If he could pick so many champions here to bully out that Kassadin, but I wonder what it's gonna end up being.
Syndra.
Ooh, Syndra. Not exactly the worst matchup for Kassadin, but yeah, definitely has that early priority and can follow up on her jungler, get that early lane push while Kassadin's weak. And if he can snowball it from there, then yeah, you won't be dealing with Kassadin's level 16, because the idea is to just snowball that lead before Kassadin eventually outscales you and your entire team. But we'll see if they can follow up on that promise here. I'm excited to see this Fiora in the side lane on this patch. Just split pushes are much more exciting now with the ridiculous items you can build, and I'm wondering to see if we're going to see it. We saw it once today, we've seen it from your jungler, but I want to see it on the actual top lane split pushes like the Fiora and see just how ridiculous these items can get.
I gotta tell you now, it's absolutely ridiculous. When we had a scrim, we played Yorick obviously with Hullbreaker. Oh, there's nothing short of disgusting how effective the item is. I'm sure it's going to get nerfed next patch, but we'll see how it plays out.
I've heard the stories of just like Divine Sundra plus Hullbreaker just two-shotting turrets really early on into the game. It's not healthy. It isn't. But that's what Riot wants apparently. But we'll see how it affects the meta. But I'm just going to slide us over to our sponsors as we hop into Spectator Delay here. Let's give them shout-outs here. And of course, the major sponsors having us a major hand here in next year Esports League, Northern Territory Esports League, pardon, and who else but the territory's own Paul's Iced Coffee to give us a hand here, celebrating their 60th anniversary, and I believe McDonald's is on their 50th anniversary. McDonald's Darwin shouting us out. There's so many deals at McDonald's Darwin, guys. Like, go to your nearest McDonald's, and like, I don't really support eating that way, but if you're gonna eat it, now's the time. Like, McDonald's is, I love to treat myself, but like some of the stuff they got on their menu right now, I just want to try everything. But be responsible, guys. Make sure
in moderation.
In moderation, make sure you're having some. If you're having Paul's Iced Coffee in the morning, you're not immediately following up with some McDonald's Darwin. Like, we support our sponsors, but
definitely
we got to be responsible with the decisions we make. And yeah, if we're not, then we won't get support from the Northern Territory government, who are backing us because of our recreational value we bring to the community, guys. We're actually making waves here in Darwin. We're trying to get the whole community involved. Get some kids, off the streets possibly, and like just playing basketball, and to a new hobby that they might enjoy much more. Like, sports is super good, but I think people are just starting to understand the recreational value of games, and like the good stuff they can do for children. And yeah, next year is all about that. So we're gonna slide us over to the minor sponsors now and transition us there. We've got about 45 seconds left, so I'm going to speed run us through these. Next year, Entertainment, Serotonic Beauty, VR Gamers, Game and Creations, Social and Sports Club, Tracy Village, Howard Salad, The Rabbit Hole, Palettes of India, Fresh Point, John John's, Diamond Barbards, District North Kitchen, Wicked Energy, Joyce Main, Next Level Gym, and Bell Accounting. Now, guys, I believe we have something lined up at the end of the stream to one of our lucky viewers, but I can't tell you what it is yet. I believe you'll have to stick around to Saturday before we actually start giving out any prizes, but I am going to be taking down a name at the end of the stream, guys. So make sure you're talking a lot in chat to be up for grabs. And yeah, I'll announce it at the end of the stream who won the giveaway. And yeah, on Saturday, I believe we'll get in contact with David Moore, the founder of Next Series Sports, and we'll be organizing your prize. So yeah, all spectators, make sure you're showing your support this game to the teams, or not even these teams. Just tell me what team you're supporting in next tier right now, and yeah, we'll see if we can hook you up with some goodies. But with that said, we are into loading screen now. Let's transition over and get into the games.
What do you actually think of each team's composition, Blade? Who are you kind of leaning towards?
Oh, I just love the potential of the split push so much right now. That Vayne is going to do so much work, but I feel like if the Vayne doesn't get off the ground, then yeah, this FF composition here is going to be so hard to deal with. I don't know how they're going to end up dealing with this Caston, dealing with this late game Tristana with just so many threats. And when it comes to just the split push, like, who's going to take care of that Fiora if Fiora ends up snowballing? Like, Urgot isn't terrible on the side lane, but just the true damage that will be coming out, along with the resistances and the tower damage from Hullbreaker, I'm just expecting just the side lanes to explode if it gets to that point. So
yeah, we're going to see how it plays out, definitely. But as we load into the game, I'm definitely favoring FF's composition. I just feel like they've covered every base of the game, but we'll see if Youngbloods, with their notorious reputation of just snowballing games out of control, able to pull this off. But a lot of pings coming out, and they're just going to go for a standard quick little squeeze of a look here, and there might be a potential early fight.
Oh yeah, they're hovering so close here, but there's no hooks on either team here. I'm not seeing anyone going to be flying over walls just yet, but yeah, they are posturing to see if they can catch anyone out, at least get some vision down, I believe. Do we drop any wards? Yeah, it's a ward, a pretty safe ward into the enemy jungle. It's not going to spot out too much there, but you know, at least some vision there to spot out any early level 2 cheeses. But I don't think the Volibear will be doing that. I think he's just going to go for this full clear here. We'll see how the teams end up playing it out. But yeah, I'd like to get some knowledge on possibly this top lane matchup. What do you think of the Urgot into the Fiora? Because I think it's going to be a pivotal matchup going into this game.
Yeah, so Django on his comfort pick, Urgot, if you take that away from him, I felt like the game would have been done, but they decided to leave it. So in terms of the actual matchup, if Urgot took PTA, he might have slowed Fiora down, but I understand why he takes Conqueror. In terms of the actual mechanics of the setup, Urgot pretty much has to make sure he dominates Fiora from pre-level 6, even up to level 11. I feel like Fiora needs level 8 to actually get going. But Urgot definitely having that range advantage, so he should fully utilize it as much as possible and zone Fiora off XP and minions in general. But it's favoring Urgot probably for the first 14-15 minutes of the game, and then we'll see how mechanically well this Fiora can pull off a 1v1 versus the Urgot. So can repost his death change as far as I'm aware, but the window is like very tight to actually pull that off. So
yeah, definitely.
What do you think of the matchup?
I do think the matchup is Fiora favored because just the E is such a critical ability for Urgot, and being able to riposte that pretty easily. Like, it's got a pretty big wind up. The Fiora should be able to react to that, even at point blank ranges. It really does define the matchup here. So the Urgot has to be really careful throwing out E's if the riposte is up, because then it can just turn around to you getting stunned, and all of a sudden that Fiora's dropping the ult on you, and yeah, you're just getting run down at that point. But if you are gonna get an advantage at any time, it is super early on. You have the range advantage. You can manipulate the wave, possibly freeze it for your jungler to come up, which is not exactly where Nictu's pathing, but if you can get the lane in a favourable position, maybe get it to bounce back off his turret here, he can just freeze that near his tower, and I don't think there's any dive threat early on from those champions, so I think it really does come down to wave manipulation here. But Nictu already on the map, finding that Galio, trying to get the stun down. He gets the 4 stacks, procs the stun there, actually cancels the auto. Tor flashes in for the root and drops the ignite, but he's going to get out. Greedo getting some damage down, but not going to find anything. But yeah, the very aggressive flash ignite already from that Zara pick. He's looking to press the advantage so hard here. Oh, and one thing I did forget to do. One thing I did forget to do is probably sync up. I'm not sure if we're delayed here between the casters. What time are you at?
3:42 now.
Yeah, so I'm about 2 seconds ahead, so I'll pause that. And I'll resume. So I'm now at 3:49, 3:50.
Alright. Yep.
Yeah, we're pretty much synced up here, so we should be good on the play-by-play casting. Nichu still in the ball lane, he flashes in there. Greedo flash W's out, tries to get out of dodge, and that looks like it's done it here. They're still gonna just take those summoners and be pretty happy. Vayne sitting on both summoners here, and yeah, already a big CS lead in the bot lane for this Vayne, and it's not looking good because if you're going to choose any champion to get fed, that's probably the worst one for the side of FF. But looks like they're answering back. Leona bot Ose in the top lane with this volley bear. Galaxy Cat trying to follow up, and yeah, they do pick up Urgot's flash there. Urgot flashing quite early. I don't think he would have died, but he would have suffered a lot of damage, and being stuck in lane versus Fiora, low health is not fun, so you can respect the flash there.
Yeah, definitely a safe flash for sure. Better be safe than sorry. But I'm surprised Kassadin's going pretty well in this matchup considering, but he is definitely taking a lot of poke.
Yeah,
So it could be a bait for all we know, but Dark Knight definitely going to ward out and pick out the volley bear.
He's playing pretty safe, playing this matchup pretty well, building that early CS lead, but you're going to see a lot of things change once that level 6 comes through. It does start to lean into the favor of that Kassadin, and by level 11 I think it's just curtains. If the matchup is even at all, then yeah, the Kassadin with that low cooldown ult just starts dancing around your skill shots on that Syndra. So
yeah,
we'll see how well Corruption can, you know, kind of weather the storm before he reaches that point here. But Dark Knight definitely laying down a lot of damage, has the Ignite here, but it's a bit low in meta, otherwise I would be expecting a solo kill angle there.
Yeah,
But,
so Django had a chance to freeze there, but opted not to, so I guess he just wants to CS as much as possible. But I get at the same time, it really depends on the matchup, and I feel like Django's really confident with his Urgot, but definitely getting punished with poke here, just walking up just even close to Fiora, so he might be forced to back early.
Oh, big flash already. He has flash himself. Can he?
Oh, he doesn't go for it. He doesn't go for it.
I'm surprised. Yeah, he didn't have the W up. Otherwise, that was definitely a free kill there. And Dark Knight already getting pushed out of lane. And it's only Kassadin level 6 here. He's not ridiculously strong yet. But Dark Knight, I believe he took a poor trade earlier on trying to press his advantage. Got shot by the tower. And all of a sudden, he finds himself on the back foot. Of course, having that CS gap here. But he's going to lose so much experience just there to the tower. So definitely well played by Corruption. And
definitely, that's kind of sweeped it in his favor, actually, all things considered. But Django playing with fire, but opts to back here. Obviously, doesn't want to shove it completely. Fiora will have a chance to freeze and make Django susceptible to a gank, but we'll see what actually happens. But we haven't seen Nichu for a little bit, so I guess he's opting for another full clear. And both teams playing pretty aggressive and passive at the same time, but Vayne definitely building up a decent lead here.
Yeah, definitely the CS is in the favor of Youngbloods in basically every role except that jungle there. Django had a little bit of lead, but now that he's recalled is going to slip away a little bit. But I think when that Fiora starts to, you know, hit that level 9, she's got a really short cooldown Q. She's really going to start to run away with this matchup, which is why we see the itemization we do out of that Urgot there. Corruption fighting in a minion wave, going to take the poor end of that trade, but yeah, with Dark Knight being flashless here, we're seeing the volley bear hovering around looking for that opportunity. And Dark Knight has to play immaculate here if he doesn't want to start snowballing this Kassadin.
Yeah, so he has a chance. Syndra, has kill potential now, quite under turret if he can land a full combo with Ignite ultimate, but Volibear looking for a gank here, very aggressive.
I think he's dead, he's getting chain CC'd, one more auto will do it, and there it is, Greedo picking up first blood onto Springding, and yeah, we were talking about that Vayne being a problem, and they're addressing that problem right now, getting the early gank onto that Vayne, taking her down there, despite all the summoners coming through, just not enough to that chain CC. Corruption going in here, but look at the junglers. Both are here. Good. Dark Knight has no flash. He's going to go down well before Nichu can arrive. And already, for fun, the team that forfeited their first match, swinging early versus one of the heavy hitters of this tournament, which is Youngbloods. So I'm excited too. They've got scaling picks here. They've got the Tristana, they've got the Kassadin, and they've got the split push third of Fiora, and they're already doing well in the early game. I'm excited to see how this game plays out.
Yeah, this is definitely going to accelerate quite quickly unless Nick Chu can actually try and find a lane to actually enable someone to carry. But just taking free damage, Django here just opting to trade CS for health, but is not really being punished severely enough by this Fiora. But I am quite guilty of what Dark Knight has fallen into with that gank just earlier. With the Ignite kill pressure, you thought he had the Kassadin, and then a wild volley bear came out of nowhere and finished him off. So he probably saw like, oh, I could kill him. He's
Yeah.
around 50% Ignite ult combo, but it wasn't to be. So
Yeah, coin flips are very tempting. It's just like this dude looks like he's just straight up inting into you, but he's actually playing the 200 IQ 40 chess game where he's timed your flash and he's told his jungler to camp your lane, and you've just gotten outplayed there. So unfortunate result for Dark Knight. He's by no means out of this game, but yeah, it's going to set him back, and Cassin is going to be pretty happy with how things have turned out here. Now,
yeah, he's able to just take half a chunk right there in one combo. So man,
yeah,
he's
look
very
at the
aggressive.
damage. Look at the damage, and it's just going to get even worse here. He comes through, almost kills
he
from
could
there. He has
flash
flash.
onto it.
Oh, the Sejuani's here.
Oh,
He
no.
gets the kill. Nice. He gets the kill right before going down. And of course, you'll take that trade as Youngbloods, but it really should have just been a clean kill, right? Nick Chu just
Yeah.
barely misses that old corruption, sidesteps, and stays calm and manages to turn the best of a bad situation.
So yeah, that pink ward actually paying off for corruption right there. Able to just pick out that Nick Chu ultimate just in time and went for the style points and pulled off the mechanical outplay onto Dark Knight. So this Kassadin definitely being accelerated, already at level 9. I'm wondering what his secondary tree is, if he's picked up Ultimate Hunter so he can accelerate the game even more. But man, it's looking a little rough for Youngbloods, not able to make any early game pressure. But look at them all just standing in the brush waiting for someone to ward. So
Yeah, they're looking for some cheesy things. They haven't been able to explode this bot lane at all for this Vayne there. Now they're looking for different avenues to try and do that, but looks like they're not falling for it. They're just going to play at their tower, play safe. They realize WinCon is in the mid lane here, in the top lane. They just have to play weak side and play it well, and they should be laughing when it comes to the mid game here. But I would like to get your opinion on the top lane again. I think it's quite controversial on what items are good on Fiora here. So what first item would you build on Fiora in this matchup?
with the split push changes, she's quite viable with 2 options. Just based off her current win rate and popular builds at the moment. I don't know why some people opt for Triforce, but it looks like before we finish that conversation, something is going.
It's really looking really bad for FFB.
Oh,
They do get the Herald gold, but it's just not worth dying to 2 for 0 there. That Nick Chu just always finds himself in the right places. He's just reading the map so well, and he's just punishing enemy champions so well on the Sejuani.
ice pillar for his team, that's for sure.
Yeah. And yeah, that is going to
Oh,
upset them so much. Oh, they're trying to pick up this Vayne here, and it looks like it's going so well. The Condemned will keep him alive, but they're flashing after him. They're trying to take down this Vayne. Finally goes down with the passive. Dark Knight shows up, but Corruption is also here. Corruption has to get out. It's too many enemy champions, and he does so with the Rift Walk over the wall there. But yeah, that was a lot of teleports expended for the side of Youngbloods for basically an even trade here.
Yeah, so Youngbloods actually, I would say they slightly won out on that, just because they were able to expend Kassadin's teleport. But at the same time here, Volibear with that interaction.
He doesn't get the stun, but he's going to be well and truly on top of this Syndra here. She misses the attacks onto the Tristana, and yeah, just goes down there. Corruption getting engaged on by Nick Chu in the mid lane, but here comes Fiora. Doesn't have the ult available, so he's not going to chase too hard, but already trades across the map there. Both junglers have been playing pretty well for their team, setting up so many kills here.
Yeah, they're definitely at the right place at the right time, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm not too sure which team is going to outscale at this point. The Vayne's got such a huge CS gap, but the Tristana's just got the kills to support it. If we look at the gold, yeah, they're basically neck and neck there, so there's no particular advantage for the AD carries. And
I feel like if Kassadin is allowed to, enable himself, he can just one-shot the Vayne, because Vayne doesn't have any real enabler to accelerate her more. So I feel like this game's going to be on Kassadin, so to speak, to look for a flank with his teleport.
That said, they have different avenues to win. Obviously, the split push is always going to be an option, but I think this Urgot's starting to win out in this matchup because of that double kill at the tower there has really accelerated him. He's got so much armor built at this point, and yeah, if you don't have your ult up, you're basically going to be tickling that Urgot here. So Django doing really well for this matchup, which I did say was Fiora favored, but yeah, by no means.
Yeah, all you need is brambles, and that's it, eh? That's all you need in this type of matchup. So.
And yeah, I think the Fiora is going to go to the Essence Reaver first by the looks of that build, and I'd say like into certain matchups it's pretty good. Oh, that was so close. He ends up flashing this time. I'm not exactly sure if that's true, whether when the Urgot lands the E, if it's a guaranteed ult there. It looks like he casted it pretty quick, but there was still a window for the Fiora to flash out. Maybe tenacity related, but yeah, just slight miscalculation there for the Urgot. Doesn't end up getting him that solo kill, but still has the advantage in the lane. Feeling pretty good, and Youngblood's going to set up for this dragon.
It looks like they're going to take this uncontested, Syndra having lane priority, and they probably saw Volibear back before, so they just opted for this quick dragon. Volibear trying to get there in time, but secured by Zyra's plants. Amazing damage in general, and oh, okay, Zyra looking to walk up.
Ult, but he's not even using it. He's just running up there. Has the ult available. He might have.
They decide to split.
Yeah, and he's still gonna chase this. Zyra has the flash. Here comes Corruption. Gonna pick up this kill for sure here. No, the Volibear takes him down. Galio ult to come through, and all of a sudden you find yourself running the opposite direction. The shield's gonna come through. Leona bot so low, he finally gets taken down by the Vayne, but the Vayne's gonna get caught up by the taunt. Corruption's trying to find his way back in. Doesn't have enough for the ult, I don't think, but finally gets in range with the flash. Gets the reset, gets out, and Dark Knight is just not there in time to support his team. Really well rotated.
Very big trade for Kassadin there.
And that's just balanced us out in the top lane here. The gold is now, I mean, not in the top lane. Overall, this game is now even, and I think Youngblood started to have like a 1.5k gold lead there at some point. They're starting to run away with it, but again, immediately a counter punch thrown by Team FF, and the game is just looking to be quite the banger already. 16 minutes in, neck and neck. Both teams have one dragon. Both teams look like they have pretty good, well-scaling compositions. They're well-rounded, and I just can't wait to see how it plays out. Django playing really far up. He's just destroying this. He gets the parry though, but the ult is gonna jump. He misses the ult and he gets taken down by Galaxy Cat 26 with the solo kill onto Django there. And yeah, like, I don't think
the patience.
Yeah, I don't think
gosh.
There's too much you can do there unless you just straight up predict that Fiora with your ult. The E is just completely reactable. You just basically better off not using it in that position because we saw the stun just set him up to just get his vitals taken down one by one. And
yeah, he definitely took a lot of tower damage in that trade, so a bit of a misplay by Django, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's just really hard to avoid those sort of things. You just can't position yourself near the tower when playing a champion such as Urgot, which automatically targets champions and stuff, depending where you're standing. It's the most annoying thing when you're just like hitting a tower like Malzahar or Annie or something, and your minion hits someone and all of a sudden you're tanking. We're having a bit of an exchange in the topside river there near the Rift Herald, but looks like ultimately Youngbloods are going to give up, but they aren't giving up in the bot lane here. Finally Youngblood's bot lane knock over that tower, which for fun have basically been sitting under that bot side tower for so long. Now that is removed, we might see a lot more plays down bot lane. But
yeah, I'm not sure if FF let their bottom tower go down on purpose, because they were both full health and they just opted for the tower to go down. Maybe it's just to freeze and farm and make Vayne fall further behind, but it's definitely an interesting play coming out of FF.
Yeah. Oh, we got an interesting collapse onto this top lane. I don't think Urgot runs away fast enough. Does he? No, does he have it? No, he doesn't get out. The Volibear's there in time with the stun. He's going to do his best here. He's possibly even might try to get the kill, but Galaxy Cat drops the ult, gains the healing, and he's just going to run away now with that lead in the top lane. And Django is putting out a lot of pressure here, but you got to do it smart. If you overextend like that, it's just... Oh my god, the Galio completely outplays the Syndra there, dodging all the abilities. Yeah, it's
What is happening?
Leon of bot O's is chasing down his vein, but he doesn't 1v1, but his team is on the rotate here. Nixu finally in, Gale drop, and that's action in the top lane. The Artur gets taken down by Galaxy Cat 26, and they're still fighting over this red buff, but it doesn't ultimately lead to anything in this red side. Oh my god, what is happening?
That was
across the map
entertaining.
here?
3 separate fights in 10 seconds. Oh.
And yeah, they are going to convert it into this mid lane tower here, but oh my god, there is action all over the map. I don't understand how any of it's happening. They're fighting over a red buff. Next minute, the support's trying to cancel the Fiora's back or something. I don't know what he's doing up there, trying to 1v1 the Fiora at this stage, but yeah, there's just non-stop action between these two teams, and I think it's starting to edge out. We see the Caston ramping up. The Tristan is doing super well. Hasn't dropped a death yet this game, and I think it's only going to get worse. But let's slow it down and let's start to break down some of the builds coming through. So in the mid lane in particular, I think is the most interesting builds we can look at here. What are your thoughts on basically either one? You can start out with either one.
Let me just bring up the builds. Give me a sec. I feel like Volibear has built correctly in terms of the mid lane. I feel like Katsudon has opted for a very safe build in general, but that's probably just textbook. But if you're able to get out there,
I was kind of like, oh my god, does she actually die to these? But yeah, drops the flash. They force the flash out, but Kasten's not here for the fight. He does have TP available, but I don't think it's looking good. He TP's right into the pit. Surely he gets stun locked here if they play this correctly. No ult thrown there. Actually, CCing the rest of the team. They're getting wombo comboed in the back here. Galaxy Cat trying to get onto the vitals there, but can't quite. Gets kited out. Zara picking up a double kill, and yeah, the coordination in the team fight was just so much better for Youngblood's side there, and they pick up the dragon and 2 clean kills, possibly even a mid lane tower here.
Definitely.
Oh, Corruption goes in. He
okay.
has the Zhonya's to outplay, and he's going even for more. The Tristan is trading in some damage onto Nix.
He can clean up 1v5.
They're going even further beyond that. Corruption tries to find the slow, but not quite going to find it. And what a turnaround from Corruption. The absolute balls of steel that goes from that play. And I guess we don't need to talk about the builds. The builds explain themselves. We saw exactly why he built Zhonya's right then and there.
Yeah, and he's doing this without boots, so I respect this Katsudon very much. For 20 minutes, he has not bought boots. I don't know if he's forgotten or if it's on purpose, but major respect coming out to this Katsudon, able to pull off these plays. This just tells me he's run Ultimate Hunter, and he's able to get his level 16 Ultimate at level 11, so able to dash around a lot.
You need boots when you have Rift Walk here. The Rift Walk does the walking for you, and yeah, just the crazy follow up there from the Galio and the Tristana to end up picking off Nikchu as well. It's just that these teams look so good at outplaying the enemy team, but the other team just turns it right on their head there. So let's break down the dragon fight that just happened. So Kasten started teleporting into the pit, and I thought they might have turned it on that, but we saw how desperate Team FF were to get into that dragon pick to help out the Kasten, and they all clumped up in that little choke point there. It's not really a choke point, but it's the fastest route to the dragon, and that's where Syndra and Zara just laid down their CC, just absolutely tore them apart. But hang on, we got a bit of a cross-map play here, and I can't help but feel this is just a straight-up int from FF.
Yeah, you can enable the 3-man Baron with Zyra, so they're looking to come around, but I felt like they will not get there in time, and Youngblood's given an opportunity to breathe once they take this Baron, but they opt to go for a mid lane push. Kasten able to get out with no mana there, but yeah, I would say a different strat in terms of inting in the bot lane, but try to be a bit more polite than that. Just a misplay coming out of FF, unfortunately. Yeah. Just not able to get that vision down, and Youngblood's punishing accordingly.
Yeah, Fiora was on that side of the map, but Fiora can't do anything in the face of 4 enemy champions there. They do rotate all their entire team down there, but it should be the opposite. The rest of the team should be around the Baron, and the Fiora with teleport should be in the bot lane. This is how you play the splits, that you have to play around your teleports when the objective is on the other side of the map, and Youngblood's instantly capitalized. Great shot calling to immediately just pull the trigger and be like, what are they doing in the bot lane? The objective's here. we have the objective. And yeah, I think they trade off an outer turret, but I think the amount of golden XP you get just alone from the Baron, that's not even crediting the buff here, what they're able to get from it. The golden XP actually evens us out a lot here.
Yeah, they'll probably take the gold lead in the next couple of minutes too as well.
Oh,
but Zyra being caught out here.
He's sitting on top of the ward there, gets destroyed by that Fiora, torn apart, and they're just going to pick up a shutdown onto the support there. And Leona Bot O's looking for something here. Does find a good stun onto Leona Bot O's there. And looks like they're just going to peel off now that they're a player down. Vayne has some alone time in the top lane. Probably going to get that tower, but pretty good defense of the Baron buff, you know. When you find those picks onto those champions, it slows down the siege pretty considerably.
Yeah, it buys you like an extra minute or two, so definitely a good pick coming out of Team FF there. I feel like Youngbloods feel like they're on a timer here, so they do have a win condition now, which is potentially the Dragon and Soul, and at the same time able to delay the game a little bit further with Baron trying to swing the gold in their favor. Just this Kassadin is just looking very scary at the moment. Could finish Medjai's at any moment and able to accelerate this game even more. And just to finish off that conversation we had in terms of the actual builds for Fiora, like Gold Drinker is kind of a staple, but the second item is quite optional, so to speak. But a lot of higher elo players are tending to actually switch over to Death Stance for some reason, maybe just because of its actual passive proc. That seems to be the go-to.
I do see a lot of Gore Drinker and Ravenous Hydra combinations there. It improves your wave clear, and it just allows you to take those side lane trades. Even if the trade doesn't go in your favor, as soon as you get to that next minion wave, you're healing up so much. So you can basically just force constant fights in the split push here. But looks like we're going to see a team fight, so it really depends what your team fight build is here, because split pushing and lifesteal doesn't particularly matter as much in the team fight here. They're actually going to go onto Dark Knight here. Greedo can't find the final autos for his explosive shot, but the rest of the team peeled off of the dragon in the meantime. They're just dancing around this dragon. No one wants to flip it for a smite fight here, but teams are going to have to find their way in. I'm going to zoom us out even more here. We have a big view of this team fight. Leona Bot procs the Predator. He's zoning them off here. Are they going to finish this? They're looking for their angles. Corruption's on the back side here, getting zoned off. Looks like they're just going to give up the dragon. He jumps in. The smite comes down. Nexu gets it, but the fight ensues. Greedo getting so many auto attacks, but his front line is just getting melted in the back line. Corruption finds the Syndra, but it doesn't matter because the team fight is lost. Corruption is just trying to get out here. Artur flashing on him, but it is a Kassadin at the end of the day. You're not chasing him down, and yeah, you can't help but feel that maybe if the Kassadin was there, it might have been different, but he finds the pick onto the Syndra instead. But we were talking about this Vayne, if she gets left alone, what she can do to the front line, and we saw exactly just how quick that Volibear, that Galio, that Fiora, all of them disappeared, and all Corruption finds himself in a bad spot here, and that is a huge shutdown that just went over to Vayne.
900 gold. That's a lot of dollars right there, and able to pick up the kill and take the inhibitor on the way out. Nothing better coming out for Youngbloods in that exchange, and that has swung the gold lead in their favor quite a bit already. So they're poised to actually close this out with a potential Dragon Soul fight in the next couple of minutes. So we'll see if FF can answer.
It was such an important fight. We see Tojangu sitting on 3,500 gold. Springding was sitting on about 2,300. There's so much gold to spend now, and yeah, that is just going to snowball them so hard, and I can't help but feel by the time next Baron comes around that they're going to take it pretty cleanly with the lead they built. I think it all really depends on this Kassadin and whether he's hitting these power spikes at level 16 soon. If he can hit that before the next big objective fight, that's huge, but unfortunately the Baron's just a minute away from spawning, I believe, and he's level 14.
And definitely watching this like Zyra and Syndra combination, just able to funnel a certain part of the Dragon Pit, and they just, for some reason, FF just decide to just charge right in with the Volibear, and they all just get blown up, and Kassadin trying to flank on the back line, but just not able to trade enough damage coming out of FF, unfortunately. So definitely a tough one for FF.
both teams didn't want to flip it, but eventually Youngbloods just said screw it, and they just forced the all in onto the dragon there, and all of a sudden FF are kind of like postured backwards there. They have to burn the abilities like the volley barrel to just get towards that dragon, and Nick Chu just comes through cleanly with the smite there. Tor gonna drop the Zyra ult. The Spring Ding going in. The Galio goes well and truly in, but the Cassin just isn't here. We can't be doing that with Baron alive, and I can't help but feel that's just Baron gone here.
Yeah, I respect the Galio play because he actually saved Tristana's life there from getting the last auto off from Vayne. So Tristana holding off the flash at the very last moment, and Galio just able to barely save her. But unfortunately, Baron does go to Youngbloods, and now they're able to accelerate their lead even more with one inhibitor down from Team FF's base. They're very poised to actually secure Soul here, so hopefully FF can actually surmount a decent team fight to potentially stop Youngbloods. But yeah, just the Vayne being left alone, just able to deal damage consistently, and Cassin opting to go for the Syndra on the back line. What are your thoughts on Teams FF's target choice in these team fights, especially with the Cassin prioritizing the Syndra over the Vayne?
Yeah, I think this Cassin, with this sort of build, you have to be the playmaker. You have to like be flash ulting that Vayne in the middle of the team fight. You don't have to kill her by any means, but as soon as you drop her down to 30%, that's when, you know, the Tristana can come through and like start zoning her off. She can start to jump in and finish that Vayne off within a moment's notice here. But if that Vayne just stays alive, full health the entire time, it's just, she's just gonna run into your team. She's gonna ignore the damage, and she gets to play however she wants. She gets to deal maximum DPS. If there's no threat onto her, they're gonna lose the front to back fight here. Just the Django on this Urgot is just so tanky. They have Nick Chu pretty well fed himself, building the new chains item, mind you. And I can't help but feel that if he just sacks that onto the Tristana, then he just only has to worry about that cast, and he can save all the CC for him. Just it is pretty difficult to melt this front line of Youngbloods here. So I think it has to be all or nothing, kill the Vayne, and Dark Knight steps too far up, but his team's there behind him. Leona bot has no follow-up. The teleport comes through for the Castin, but it's all about this ensuing dragon fight. Unfortunately, Castin's still not at level 16 here. The Youngblood's looking to pick off Leona bot. She gets the Urgot ult on him. Galaxy Cat tries to team fight, but it's just too difficult as a Fiora. She really doesn't specialize in these team fights, and yeah, they're just running for their lives here. Corruption goes for that Zhonya's. He's sitting in the middle of 3 champions. I don't think he makes it out of this one.
He's gonna get a penta?
Oh my god, the plants take away the penta. I didn't even see it coming at all, but then I thought it happened until the plant just comes through and denies it. Unfortunate there for Spring Ding. He might have been finding himself another MVP if it wasn't for the likes of that plant. But Youngbloods,
classic support play.
yeah, Youngbloods really came together. They found out what worked here. This Vayne just started pumping out the damage. They played front to back really well, and yeah, just dismantled this team FF. What really looked like a close game there for a moment.
It definitely looked very close, and it was just unfortunate that FF weren't able to pull off the late game composition, and that's what dragons do to some composition. Sometimes they force you to make a decision, and you have to react instead of being proactive, and Youngbloods took advantage of that 100%.
And yeah, well, that was quite the game, and there was so many like crucial moments that I find it hard to just go ahead into this MVP discussion here, because yeah, they just highlight players all across the map here, right? It's just, there was some good moments that I think from every player in this game. It was one of those games here that I could justify points for every single player, but I guess we'll start off with the winning team here. I'll start us over to the stats screen, and we'll see who on Youngbloods ends up picking up this MVP. So just going at the overall stats screen here, we can see Spingding, of course, picking up most damage there, but someone creeped up not too far behind. The Zyra actually just short of that Vayne's damage there as the support, and you know that is the power that Zyra can put out. If you're not careful, just these enchanted supports in the right scenarios can just absolutely demolish your team. But I don't know, give me your thoughts on who you think took it for Youngbloods here.
A really unsung hero has been Nick Chu, so he was able to be at the right place at the right time, got a double kill for Django on the top lane, secured 2 Infernals through a 50-50 smite fight, and was able just to be a beefy frontline. So Tristana just couldn't get through the Sejuani, unfortunately. So I'm kind of leaning towards Nickchu here. I felt like he did his job perfectly as a textbook jungler. A lot of vision control, a lot of sweeping involved, and even though he didn't do much damage in the game, he had a lot of agency in the game, and his kill participation is definitely through the roof there. It just shows that he was always at the right place at the right time. I think those are my thoughts on how that game played out.
Yeah, it's easy to look at damage numbers and jump on board, but yeah, unsung heroes like Nichu definitely clutching out some of those smites in those fights, and yeah, just playing the team fights pretty cleanly around his team. But I think when it came to the team fights, there was actually someone just putting in even more work than the Vayne, because there was one champion setting up the Vayne for all these players, basically, and that was the Zyra. So many just clutch choke point ultimates, so many clutch snares setting up the Syndra to follow up with hers. Just Zyra actually just played such an insanely aggressive game here, and normally on a champion that's immobile, she got away with it, and she set up her team for some insane team fights there, and it really reflects in the damage dealt there, but in the crowd control score, Zyra ending up with the most in the game by pretty large margin, just even Syndra.
Yeah,
I'd say
definitely carrying from a support role. Yeah, I would agree with you there. Definitely, Blade. It's pretty hard to pull off these days.
Yeah, just 34 crowd control score, just absolutely setting up that Syndra. I think half of that Syndra's crowd control score was off the back of that Zyra too, but Syndra landed some pretty clutch stuns, but I don't know, in terms of the team fights, I'd say a lot of them were one off the back of that Zyra there. It's pretty...
Yeah, everyone played their role, definitely, but I thought, yeah, Zyra probably definitely stepped up in terms of providing the damage and the CC for those game-changing team fights. So.
Look, I'm all on the Nickchu hype train here, but I think since he's already taken one here, I'm just going to have to give it over to Artur. We'll spread the love, and I'm sure Nickchu Sejuani will be around to pick up more MVPs in the future.
As long as he's able to pick it, then so to speak.
So yeah, we'll slide over to Team FF now, onto that Caston. What do you think? Do you reckon it was MVP performance from Caston, or someone else?
He kept his team in the game, so I felt like everyone on FF, Fiora had a chance to snowball, but they opted for that tower dive. It didn't work out, and then was not able to split push first Django anymore because Django got accelerated. But Galio had pretty good engages early on in the game and got Tristana rolling a bit early. But Kassadin probably comes out as the person who was able to come through and clean up the scraps of those fights and able to pick up a double kill here and there, and pretty much kept his team in the game for quite a while, but unfortunately wasn't able to push that lead any further due to vision control. So I reckon Kassadin takes this one. I felt like he's the one who kind of performed above and beyond the rest compared to his teammates.
Yeah, I think just if we saw that Caston just accelerate a little bit faster, got that level 16 a bit earlier on into the game, we might have seen some insane team fights out of him. But yeah, unfortunately, they didn't stall out long enough. They ended up taking those earlier fights, and yeah, it really ended up biting them here when they went at their power spikes. So I do think, unfortunately, he wasn't able to carry that game, but yeah, I'm more than happy to still give him the MVP performance. We saw some crazy, I think there was some solo kills in there, even from Caston. It was just...
underneath
he
turret,
was really, he was given Dark Knight a run for his money, and Dark Knight has been like hard stomping some of these other mid laners in the competition, so there's pretty fierce competition in the mid lane too. This season,
definitely.
Like. So hopefully you've got your eye on them, because I certainly do.
I got to do my research here and there. So definitely the mid lane kind of players in this competition is definitely a step up compared to last year in terms of competitive diversity. So it's good to verse all these other mid laners.
Yeah, okay. So I guess that rounds us off. Corruption ends up picking up the ace there, or the SVP, second valuable person, whatever you want to, whatever terminology. He ends up taking it from his team. But yeah, we will have to just end it there, I believe, guys. I'll just give us a quick run through of Saturday coming up and the games going on there. I will just go ahead and read it out. So on Saturday, we've been playing with the schedule a lot, so I'll have to go find that one. So
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
we've played with the schedule, and the Saturday stream is actually going to start on 3:30 p.m. and game one will be Purple Cobras versus AD Astra. So I'm excited to see that matchup. I think both these teams have been struggling at the start, so we'll see whether they're able to pick up their first wins here. Someone's got to win at the end of the day, and we'll see which team has adapted faster. And followed up by that game, we will have Corona Spaceship versus CG. I think Corona Spaceship got a free win off of FF forfeiting, so we haven't seen too much of Corona Spaceship. I believe they played one other game into Destiny, and they unfortunately didn't win that one, but not many teams do win versus Destiny, unfortunately. They are just dominant for a reason. But the final game of that day will be the casters battling it out, apparently. So
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be a good game at the end of the day.
Yeah, Jufy's Angels versus Job Seekers there. It's going to be probably an even bigger banger than some of the matches we had today. Who knows? I'm excited for that matchup. And yeah, I would give away my picks on stream here if it wasn't for the person I'm facing just right next to me. So
It's okay. We got to do our due diligence. Okay. That's just how it is. So.
We'll show our hand. Make sure you're there on Saturday to see it. But without further ado, I will actually grab some names off the chat here before we close out, because as I believe we are going to be doing a giveaway Saturday, guys. So I think there's been two pretty loyal people. I've seen Theta Zoe this entire stream just talking so much, so I think he just wins by default there. I got to take his name down, but just the sheer support for Team FF. Joshua Morris also has been just non-stop talking this game. He's basically doing the play-by-play. He should be up here casting instead of me, because how much he's been typing, rooting for his Team FF here. So I'm going to be taking down the names of Theta Zoe and Joshua Morris here, and we'll be trying to give you out some free goodies here from our sponsors on Saturday, guys.
Congrats.
Congratulations to those two. Thank you so much for tuning into the stream, and hopefully we see you continue, because who knows, this might not be your last giveaway win. So thank you guys all for tuning in. I'm just going to do one more round of shout-outs to the sponsors, and we'll be closing up the stream. So just slide us over to the major sponsors here. Big shout-outs to the Territory Zone, Paul's Ice Coffee, Northern Territory Government, and McDonald's Gowan sponsoring us so much. They've done it in the past too. We can't thank them enough. They're a really big reason as to why we're giving you this stream and why you're getting these banger games, guys. Like, honestly, the quality of these games I don't think has been higher. Like, we've had some good ones in the past, but like for this many good games to show up this early on into the season, I think it's looking pretty good. In the future.
Healthy competition, very healthy competition.
So I'll just go over to the minor sponsors now. Look at the transition. And yeah, just thank you to our minor sponsors: Next Year Entertainment, Serotonic Beauty, VR Gamers, Gammon Creations, Tracy Village Social and Sports Club, Howard Springs Tavern, The Rabbit Hole, Pallets of India, Fresh Point, John John's, Darwin Barbers, District North Kitchen, Wicked Energy, Joyce Main, Next Level Gym, and Bell Accounting. And yeah, guys, I hope you guys like our sponsors here, because your giveaway rewards are probably going to be coming straight from them. So make sure you show your support to these businesses, and who knows, they might even end up splurging and giving us more stuff to give out to you guys if you're showing your love. So do not be afraid to go over there and show them your love. Don't just support us, guys. Support local business, especially if you're up here in the NT. So yeah, make sure we share the love around, because they definitely share it with us. But without further ado, I think that is us done here. Do you have any closing thoughts here, Chris?
No, just accept that, tune into this Saturday. It's going to be a banger of a stream, that's for sure. And congrats to the viewers that potentially have won prizes coming to this Saturday. Thanks for being proactive on the stream and showing your support. And yeah, thanks for all the teams that played tonight. Definitely a good showing, and very spicy games for tonight for sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. It's been a very fun stream with some of the matches. We've got very fun with the spectators tuning in. I can't wait for Saturday, and hopefully the rest of the season goes like this. But yeah, without further ado, that's us signing off here. I'm going to fade out to some music for the last probably 5 minutes, so feel free to mingle in the chat, guys. And yeah, make sure you tune in Saturday. Peace.
Take care. See you then.